Hello everyone! We are back with Ace Attorney Investigations, and today we are hopefully going to finish Case 2. Case 2. We're on Case 2. The thing looks like this now, so cool. Anyway, let's go right in and let's see if we can do it. And if we can't do it, then I will cry. First, who's here? It's BF David! You're first, how you doing? You're just in time for this game. Here we are again. Let's hope we can find something this time that will finally reveal the truth behind it all. Although, that might be easier said than done. There's nothing left to investigate. Hey, J-Man. Won't be there for long, but you just want to say hi. Hey! How you doing? How was your day? Judge Gavel's deduction yesterday. There is another possibility, one you seem to have overlooked. The well in the yard. Could a body have entered the tunnel from there? Always happy to be with you, this awesome community. Thanks. Always glad to have you here, David. The body must have been thrown down the well and moved to the workshop. At some point during the show, tell me, who else could have done this but Mr. Saint? Had Knight's body really been thrown down the well? The answer to that question will surely show us the way forward. But before we begin, I should tidy up my organizer a little. Necessary evidence has been removed, remaining evidence has been rearranged. Let's see here. Huh? There's a cover on it. A dried up well slap bang in the middle of a prison? Figured it'd be locked. Well, luckily, I'm a master lockpicker. Want me to do my stuff? I think not. We'll do this investigation by the book. Come on, don't be such a stick in the mud. Whoa! What is it, Kay? The lock's broken, and from the looks of it, it's been broken for a long time. If that's the case, then anyone could have thrown Knight's body down the well. Judge Gavel's theory was that Mr. Saint carried out the murder here in the yard, and then, during the performance, he threw the body down the well. What are you thinking, Miles Areno? Plausible or no? Oh, why don't we see if Missile can help us out again? He'll be able to tell us if Mr. Knight's body was here, and which way he went. Good idea. I'll call Detective Gumshoe. Gumshoe speaking. J-Man, have you ever seen this game before? It's really good. Detective, I need your assistance. Come to the prison yard and bring Missile with you. You bet, sir. Gumshoe's 7 secret weapons to the rescue again, huh? I'm fairly sure Missile belongs to the precinct. I'm also like you to bring one of our witnesses. Call the Berry Big Circus and ask Miss Regina Berry to come down here with you. Yes, sir. I'll be there before you know it. So, what shall we do while we're waiting for Gummy? How about a quick game of hide-and-go-seek? Fun idea, kiddo, but where exactly would we hide? He's not seriously considering it. Your game can wait, Kay. We need to call on one of your more practical skills. I think you know the one. Oh, you bet I do. One crime scene recreation coming right up. Say what now? Let me show you. Introducing a great thief's great secret weapon, Little Thief. Oh, it's back. Little Thief is back. What? Wow! Screens appearing from thin air. This is some next level tech, little sis. Wanna talk me through the deets? Where are you going? What are you doing now? I'm inputting everything we need for the simulation. Allow me to explain. This is Mr. Thief. It's a device that can recreate crime scenes at specific moments in time based on the data you feed it. How about I start off with a recreation of what the yard looked like yesterday? Good idea. That was when they were in the middle of tearing down the stage. You didn't pay much attention to the well then. Who knows? We may have overlooked something. Leave it to me. I'll use the photo I took. Bippity bop, bippity beep boop beep. That's all the data. Just gotta pump the projection power to max and... Dark skies of evening, where no other bird dares take wing. One alone remains all-seeing. Now witness the true power of a real modern-day Robin Hood. Ooh. Different animation. Yipes, what is this? Hey, Nicholas. How you doing? Good to see you today, too. Music's a bit different here. It's a recreation of how things were yesterday. Module on the data I gave Little Thief. This gadget was a tool used by the original Yatagarasu, but they used it to plan robberies. Well, there's no harm in using it for something on the right side of the law now. Oh, but keep in mind that it can only recreate what you tell it to. It can't simulate things it doesn't have data for. If the data itself contains mistakes, then you'll wind up with those same mistakes in the recreation too. But this particular recreation is based on Kay's photo. You shouldn't run into any problems. That's enough preamble. Shall we get started? You're doing good today, Nicholas? Awesome. Don't forget, you can re-examine stuff in the recreation just like in real life. You can also present evidence to try and clear up any inconsistencies you find. Of course, thank you for the reminder. Now let's take a look at that well. Even the, like you can tell it's a hologram. So it looks very different in this game. I like it. Yes, this is where the circus show stage stood. Do you think people would be interested in a great thieving show? I'm sure the police would be very eager to attend. Oh, yes. These chairs must have been for the audience. Wow, I pity whoever had to put them all away. Really? Why? Everything is good with you, Nick. That's good. I am glad, my friend. Heh, you've clearly never had to fold up a bunch of boring chairs before, huh? Not personally. I've told other people to do it, though. Come on, Mr. Edgeworth, you gotta roll up your sleeves and help out once in a while. Gurk, I'll consider it. Well, here we are. We should examine this area carefully. It may just hold the clues we need. Well, hey, Captain Chips. Everything is so green, I know. You know why it's green, right? You know who's back in action? Back in quaction? How you doing today? It looks like this was designed for raising and lowering a bucket. No sign of the bucket, though. The well was behind the stage, which means there aren't many people who could have thrown Knight's body down it during the show. This is looking worse and worse for Mr. Saint. Not good, Mr. Saint. What are a bunch of pulleys doing here? They don't seem to be, well, pulleys for lifting buckets. Weird. There's a sturdy-looking hemp rope lying on the ground. Kinda reminds me of the ropes we used for playing tug-of-war in school. The answer is no, Kay. What? I didn't even say anything. Yet. I see it also has a metal stake attached to one end. Oh yeah, it looks like something you'd use to pull up a tent. But there was no tent, was there? In which case, what was it used for? Was it used for stabbing? It's a metal weight of some kind. It looks like it weighs. The projection makes it a little tricky to read, but do you remember how heavy it was, Kay? Sure, it was 30 pounds. Keep track of everything, guys. Why? What does anyone need such a heavy weight for anyway? Doesn't seem related to the circus show at any rate. So what do you think all this stuff around the well was used for? I can't see any of the animals needing them for their part of the performance. Indeed, nothing immediately strikes me as a likely purpose. We'll have to ask Miss Berry later. Today's the last day of September, by the way, guys. Get ready for fun stuff. Oh, there's an auto-modded message. Best viewers on ... I am so glad those are auto-modded now. This pond is home to Warden Lagarde's beloved alligator. And look, those bones must be from her latest meal. Don't remind you? Yep. Stupid bots. I somewhat doubt an alligator could pick a carcass clean like that. You think? I got the feeling she was rather ladylike in her own way, actually. If you say so. Well, I do. I kinda have a sixth sense for these things. Interesting talent, though not one I'm particularly envious of. A wicker basket, or rather a cart given the wheels. Hey, wouldn't it be fun to hop in and race it down a hill? Oh, you know what else would be fun? Racing down a hill on office chairs. Where did any of that come from? What was the name of our chunk happy friend again? Azea the Asian Elephant. Of course, how could I forget? Not exactly inspired, though, is it? Was Miss Berry having an off day when she came out with it? Oh my gosh, Mr. Edgeworth, not in front of the poor elephant herself. I suspect that's about all there is to find for now. Detective Gumshoe should be here soon, too. Okay, you can power down Mr. Thief now. Sure thing. Prepare to return to normality. Yay! Sorry, sir. I came as quick as I could. Yeah, speak of the devil. Ah, detective, that was indeed impressively quick. You know me, sir. Never did like to keep you waiting. Thanks for coming all this way too, Regina. No problem. This seemed way more fun than rehearsals, so I ditched them for the day. It's very much appreciated. Alright, detective, let's get started with Missile. Yes, sir. Hey, Missile, over here, boy. What's the matter? Come on, boy, come on. Uh-oh. Missile is not happy with something. What's wrong with him? Looks like he's scared of something, sir. Oh. Right. Eek! Alligator! Guess he's not a fan, sir. Well, I doubt he'll be of much help to us like this. Any other bright ideas, Malzarino? Yes, actually, Miss Berry. Would you mind lending us a hand? Oh, I'd love to. Just tell me what you need. Do you want me to teach Allie some tricks? I don't doubt she could do it, but nothing quite like that. I'd simply like an account of what the yard looked like during the show. I like where this is going. You're thinking of using Little Thief again, am I right? If you'd be so kind. Okay, I plugged in all the data, firing up the simulation. Chairs. And there's people on it now. Here you go. This is what the yard was like during the show. The time at which the body was purported to have been thrown down the well. Oh wow, this is so amazing. It's like magic. No magic here, just sweet, sweet data. Which is why, ahem. Huh? The area behind the stage is missing. That's new. Yeah, Regina said she wasn't involved in getting the stage set up, so we don't have any data on what it was like back there. No data, no simulation, huh? Brutal. I'm so sorry, you guys. It's all because I let Simeon do everything by himself. Oh, no, it's all my frilly associate's fault. Objection, Fender. Anyway, we got a fresh simulation now, but we still have the other data too. I can switch back whenever you want to do the recreation, whenever you want to the recreation of them taking down the stage. So we can examine the scene both during and after the show, and switch between the two at will. I can switch between recreations by using X to talk with K. Now then, let's continue our investigation, shall we? Wow, new things we can do. Would appear that we're missing some data for this point in time. Yep, that's about the size of it. You gotta go steal some data. I don't steal data, Kay. I use logic and deduction to get what I need. Well, I'm more of an act first, think later gal. Please don't add to my workload with your recklessness. I would hate to have an order you arrest. Don't say a word, sir. I know just what you're looking for. It's written all over your face. It is? Missile may be temporary out of action, but my fishing rod is good to go whenever you need it. Oh, and if you want to give the metal detector a shot, I have that too. Hey, how you doing? XX Ventura. Sorry for not responding and chat, your stuff wasn't open. It's fine. I had a feeling something was wrong. How have you been, though? It's good to see ya. I'll be sure to let you know if I need either of them, detective. Whimper! It's as bad as it looks, sir. Poor little guy's scared out of his skin. I'd hoped to have him track the scent again, but that clearly isn't in the cards now. Whimper! Aw, poor Missile. Welcome to the stream, though. Welcome to this crazy game. So do you come to visit the prison often, Regina? I sure do. I have so many little friends here. It's wonderful. And they're all such sweeties, the old faces and the new. I made a new friend only yesterday. Allie is just the cutest. Cute? That's a full-grown alligator lurking in the depths of the pond. Are you sure about that? Cannot worry. You could just walk up and then chomp, you know? Oh, don't be silly. She'd never do anything like that. Especially since she's not doing great, but she hasn't been herself since yesterday. I'm so worried about her. You guys are worried too, right? Right? Yeah, totally. Super worried, right, Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, super. Don't roll me into this. Hello, Regent. A story of forbidden love between a tiger and an elephant. Wish I could have seen it. Wish I could have seen Simeon up there on that stage, too. Oh, he was wonderful. The way he flew off that stage. Ah, yes, that scene. The victory is depicted in a very unique manner, whereby the villain is sent flying from the stage. Having been ejected from the stage in this manner, the villain no longer appears in the performance. And you're saying the crime took place during that time? Roughly, how long would you say Mr. Saint was off stage for, Miss Barry? Let's see. Guess it was around 15 minutes? Just as Judge Cavell said. Isn't it pretty hairy health and safety-wise having an elephant fling a guy off the stage? Not at all. Azzy is very gentle. I'm not sure it changes much if she flings him gently or roughly. Too gentle, in fact. When we first rehearsed it, she barely nudged him. But by the end, he was flying off that stage. Not because of Azia, though. Simeon had figured out some kind of trick, apparently. Isn't that amazing? A trick? Do you have any idea what kind of trick? Who, me? Oh no, it was Simeon's big thing. I wouldn't know where to start. Psst. Basketballs. The basket was empty in the other recreation. Oh yeah, but it was definitely empty in the photo I took too. Oops, sorry, I made a mistake when I was filling you in earlier. Oh? That basket's for holding Azaya's food, but on the morning of the show, all the apples were in it and vanished. Poof! I totally forgot to mention it. Sorry. Disappearing apples. Should make a note of this. That's a disaster. It's the pen that held Azia, the Asian elephant, now empty as the lady herself is on stage. Wonder how they got her in here in the first place. What do you mean? Well, the entrance to the yard is people-sized, and there's like a gazillion megawatts of pumping through the fence. Kinda risky, no? What if one turned off the electricity? Yeah, but then all the prisoners would escape. Through an entrance blocked by an elephant? I think not. This is a real puzzler, alright. Need to give it some more thought. Seems to be enjoying the challenge. I'll leave her to it. This pond is home to Warden Lagarde's beloved alligator. Yeah. She said this already. Okay. The Great Thief's great secret weapon. Color me intrigued, Miles Areno. Not exactly by the book stuff, though, yeah? Using Great Thief doodads in an official investigation? Whoa, enough with the death stares, Chief. I'm cool, okay? I can keep a secret. Anything for the truth, am I right? It's possible that vital evidence has already been destroyed. Without Kay's reproduction of the scene, we have no hopes of finding it. Hey, relax. Like I said, I'll just zip it and nod politely will. You cats do your thing. Thank you. That would be very helpful. The chairs are lined up neatly for the show, though we know there were a few empty seats during the performance. Huh? Something about this space, the way the seats are arranged, reminds me of the karaoke contest I entered as a kid. Entered a karaoke contest? I sure did, and I came in second. Even in the depths of night, when no other bird dares to take flight, one alone soars to shine the light of righteousness on the world's blight. Tell me you didn't actually sing that. I sure did. She did well to take second place, or perhaps stole is more apt. Or is it more than she failed to steal first place? I'm overthinking this. Alright. I think I have examined everything, guys. It is time to logic. What do we got? Items on the well, big moment, disappearing food, 30-pound weight metal detector, maybe Azia the elephant, and then big moment. This is why we save. This is why we save. Okay? This is why we do the saving. Maybe Azia and disappearing apples? Hey! The apples in the basket were likely eaten by Azia. Really? That's strange. I made sure to put the cart where her trunk couldn't reach them. Are you sure about that? Oh yes, it was still full of apples the night before the show. I must consider the possibility that the cart was moved to somewhere within Azia's reach. A large basket full of apples couldn't have been moved by the wind, which likely means somebody moved it for a reason. Ooh. So before the show had even started, the cart had been moved and its apples eaten. Yes, that seems to be the most probable timeline. Let's update the recreation, Kay? Will do. I'll add that info to the simulation of the performance then. Updating basically what Regina told us now. There, all done. Little wonder it smelled of animals. It was being used for the elephant. Old Azia's apples, right? Yep, it was full of them the day before the show. So they vanished overnight. Oh, did you figure something out, Mr. Edgeworth? Quite possibly. Quite possibly. And I'll be recovering, damage soon, so, it's fine if I save now. Items around the well... Maybe Big Moment and Basket of Apples? Maybe, guys? Nope. Okay. Okay. Items around the well and this. I'm so good at this game, guys. Like, really? I'm just the best. I'm so good at figuring things out. There we go. But I'm actually going to reload my save, actually. Loading, loading, loading. Alright, here we go. Items and Big Moment. The trick Mr. Saint performed for his big scene, could it have something to do with all the items we found by the well? Okay, I'd like to have another look at the equipment around the well from yesterday. Can you have Mr. Thief bring up the recreation from when they were tearing down the stage? You got it! You got it! Taking another look at these items, could they not have been used for this trick of Mr. Saint's? Sounds plausible enough. Hey, I can maybe add it to the simulator. Good idea. Please go and ask Mr. Saint for the details. Roger that. I'll be right back. Later. I'm back, and he told me exactly how he did it. Excellent. Well, how does it work? Oh boy. Everyone pay attention. Knowing me, I'm gonna forget a lot of this stuff. He said he used the pulley at the top of the well to suspend a heavy weight from a rope, and lower that down into the well. The other end of the rope went through 2 more pulleys, and was tied around his body. I see, so he used the downward pull of the weight to help him launch himself into the air. How did he make sure the weight only dropped when he wanted it to? Used a stake to stop it, that's how. Miss Berry didn't seem to know anything about the trick or the contraption he built for it. In which case, I suppose it must have been Mr. Saint himself who pulled out the stake. That's right, and to do that he could use a second length of rope. He tied it to the stake and then, when he gave it a sharp tug, the stake was released and the weight dropped down the well. It's a great trick, I have to steal it. This one has to go in the Great Thief's repertoire. It may not be quite that easy. These kinds of circus tricks can require years of practice to master. Simply stealing the idea won't be enough. Alright, practice it is then. Well, before you run away to do so, would you mind updating the simulation? Oh, right, and we can see how it all worked for ourselves. Okay, I'm switching back to the recreation of the performance. And now to add in the data, Little Thief should be able to reproduce the trick now. Who do you all think it is this time, guys? I'm actually stumped. I don't know who did it whatsoever this time around. So this is how Mr. Saint performed his trick. Yay. Simeon's full of surprises, huh? I mean, dropping a weight down the well to help him fly off the stage like that? That's genius! Indeed. But I imagine he would have needed quite a lot of weight. More than him, at the very least. I would have taken some serious pull to lift him into the air like that. Yeah, and probably a ton of practice. Okay. Guess all of this is just the same. Mr. Saint used the will to construct a contraption that would send him flying from the stage. Beginning to wonder if it wasn't the warden. No proof though, just mind fishing. Maybe it's the warden. It's made clever use of 2 ropes. I was thinking it was the boxer guy. But I don't know, he's saying that it's not him in such a strange way. This tarp, just like the one we saw in the workshop. This tarp is just like the one we saw in the workshop! Yes, but why is it here? Why is it here? Are you okay, Mr. Edgeworth? You've gone kinda blank. I intend to stay blank until you stop stealing my thoughts. One heavy weight kinda makes you think of how much this must all be weighing on Simeon. It does. Albatross. Albatross! You'd face some stiff resistance if you tried, I can promise you that. Alright, let's, save again. Hey, stars! What's up? Welcome back to the Phoenix Wright. Not Phoenix Wright. The other game. You know what I mean. How have you been? How was your Zeldas since I last saw them? 30-pound weight and pulling force. Wait, doesn't this seem odd to you? No. You have noticed, Detective? There's something strange about the weight we found. How heavy it is. 30 couldn't, like, pull him up. It was good we got the first quest finished, so we got all the rice. Hey, good. I saw you cutting down the grasses to get the rices. Well done! The one weight on its own wouldn't be heavy enough. A single 30-pound weight couldn't have lifted Mr. Saint off the ground. Oh yeah! In which case, could there perhaps be some weights missing? Sounds like a job for my 7 secret weapons, sir. Should the need to use them arise, suppose I should speak with him then. Rice. Rice indeed. Indeedy. Yes, Detective, you need to use one now. No, not you. You remember how Little Thief works, right? Yes, it creates a simulation I can interact with and investigate like a real crime scene. That's right, just go around and poke at anything you find interesting. Oh, but don't forget that if the inputting data is wrong, then the recreation will be wrong too. If something weird, try presenting evidence to clear it up. Right. Actually, I'm still not very familiar with the new feature you mentioned. Nothing complicated, but it lets you switch between the different recreations. So the 2 we got programmed in right now are... The scene as it was during the show 2 days ago, and when they were tearing down the stage yesterday. Talk with Kay again if I need to switch the recreations. Insufficient weight, metal detector. Detective, I have need of one of your secret weapons. Roger that. The metal detector, if you would be so kind. Aw, jeez, I'm never gonna get used I'm never gonna get to use my fishing rod. Before we get started, let me run you through how the metal detector works, sir. It's simple enough. It uses this sound and this gauge to tell you how close you are to something made of metal. The closer you get, the more strongly it'll react. It starts going wild like this. Just give me the order to examine the spot where I'm standing. Say, what do we got here? Oh, the fence. Anyway, that's how it all works. You tell me where you want me to look, sir, and I'll get right on it. I'm controlling Detective Gumshoe! This is now officially the best game ever made. Well, there's something in the alligator pit. Sir, picking up something over here. Let's take a little look-see, huh? Found these little guys in the grass. They're the same as the weight we found by the well. It must be from Mr. Saint's trick. Did someone hide these here on purpose? I count 4 altogether, sir. They would be more than heavy enough to send him flying. So somebody had several of the same weights as the one by the well. But why? And why over there? Yes, nice work, me. Eek! Alligator! That thing nearly gave me a heart attack. What's the matter, detective? It's the metal detector, sir. It's, reacting to the alligator. What? How? You're sure it's not responding to the weights we just found? No, sir, I'm sure this is something different, and I'm sure it's coming from the alligator. How are we going to, guys? And she's gone. Huh, we scared that big snapper good. I don't think that's it, Kay. Huh? Then what is it? Allie hasn't been herself lately. That's the name, Allie, the warden's favorite pet. She wouldn't even look at the food Warden Lagarde brought her yesterday. She was acting as if, I don't know, as if maybe she'd eaten something that didn't agree with her. Maybe the metal detector was responding to whatever she ate, sir. Oh no, what if she ate one of the weights? I highly doubt that even an alligator could swallow a 30-pound lump of iron. So what did the metal detector actually pick up? Alright, so Allie needs to go poopies now. And why would someone hide these weights? Perhaps I missed something when I looked at the equipment by the well. Okay, could you recreate the scene again? Coming right up. Alright. Guess the scene by the well. Oh crap, there's a deduce here. Oh no, guys. Wish me luck. What do you think it is? Saint's trick. Rope, maybe? Eureka! Think about 2 recreations. The one during the performance and the one we're looking at right now. There's a major difference between the 2. Namely, the one that one of the ropes is missing. Oh yeah! Mr. Saint's trick wouldn't work with only the items we see before us. So what happened? Where did the missing rope go? I think one of the pieces of evidence we've collected might tell us exactly that. Really? What shows us where the missing rope went? The metal detector. The metal detector is not here. Son of a gun! Well... rope, maybe? Take that! This rope was found beside beside Knight's body. Wait, you mean... yes, it must have been the other rope used in Mr. Saint's trick. So you're saying, yes, that this rope did indeed have a weight attached to it. But it wasn't any of the iron weights we found. Those were hidden in the bushes and replaced with something else. What was it, Mr. Edgeworth? Come on, I'm dying here. Think about what the rope we found in the workshop was related to. Do that, and you'll soon figure out the answer. The weight dropped down the well in place of the iron weights was... him? Take that! It can only have been Knight's body that was dropped down the well. What? Mr. Knight's body was the weight? Yes, somebody first swapped out the weights used for Mr. Saint's trick. Then Mr. Saint used the contraption to make his exit from the stage. When he let the rope around his body loose, both the rope and Knight's body fell to the bottom of the well. The rope was never used to restrain Knight. It was used to suspend his body halfway down the well. From this we can easily see why most of the weights were hidden, so that no one would realize they'd been replaced with the body. Precisely. You can then further deduce that they were hidden by the killer. Whoa there, gang. Wasn't poor old Bronco stabbed in the neck? Wouldn't there be blood everywhere, including down the well? Oh, the killer thought of that, which is why they used this. What did the killer use to stop Knight's blood from going everywhere? Tarp maybe? Tarp, do you think?
Take that!
This tarp was found with the body. I think it's likely the Knight's corpse was wrapped in it. Oh, another piece of the puzzle falls into place. It's all coming together now. Love it. But all we're doing is proving that the body did go down the well, which means we're helping to prove that Simeon was the killer. No, not quite. But what about Judge Gavelin said yesterday? But if Mr. Saint truly is the killer, why would he need to go to such lengths to commit his crime? That's true. Knight's body fell down the well when Mr. Saint used his contraption during the show. Therefore, it reveals nothing about where the real killer actually was or what they were doing at the time. It's only designed to throw suspicion onto those who were not at the show. Yeah, I guess we did suspect Mr. Canis right away, huh? That was the killer's goal, to make us think that the crime took place during the show. In other words, they used the well contraption to construct an alibi. Miss Barry, when exactly did Mr. Saint put this contraption together? It would have been the day before the show. The night before, actually. Yes, we started getting ready for the show at around 9 p.m. Hey, Hedgewolf, what's up? Welcome back to the stream. Hedgewolf, we found the murderer. It's her. It's Regina this whole time. Who would have seen it coming? Oh my god. Yo, what's up? Oh, and thank you for raiding. I just noticed that. Thank you. I appreciate you, my friend. I'll try and stop by your streams as soon as I can. But thanks so much. And I think we finish at around midnight? Okay, it's not Regina. It's actually not Regina. Hedgewolf, it's someone else. In which case, the killer must have switched the weights out for the body after that point. I saw your messages before. It's fine. Ventera. I had a feeling something was wrong with the chat room. But, you'll get it fixed, my friend. You will. You will. Did Canis know about this contraption? Even if he did, he wouldn't have been able to do much with it. And I highly doubt that he taught his dog to suspend bodies halfway down wells. Which means, Canis isn't the killer. Hope you saw your walk-off hour. I might have missed it. Sorry if I did. I saw you last streaming Among Us. And then I had to go. I had to do things. Oh, your home run. I saw something. I saw a couple of your baseball game. Body used as a weight. Basket of apples. It was the basket of apples that was the killer. You'll clip it? Alrighty. I'll check it out. And knowing you'll make many, many more, right? I believe in ya. The basket was moved the night before the circus performance, and we've deduced that the weights were switched out for the body at around the same time. Hard to chalk that up to coincidence, huh? The next question we should be asking is, why was the cart moved? I think I can hazard a guess. The cart would have been blocking that door, which can only mean that somebody needed to open it. Now let's see what's... Oh, great. It's locked. Let me ask a guard for help. Hey, Mr. Guard! Where did that guy come from? Yes, miss, what can I do for you? That was fast. Guard, where's the key for this door? Oh, the warden keeps hold of that. I'll go ask her for it. Warden Lagarde is the only one with the key? Meaning, if somebody did open the door, they would have had to get it from her somehow. Thanks for the help. Uh-oh. Look at all these breakers. They must control the electricity for the whole prison. So we're thinking somebody got in here the night before the show, right? But why? What were they trying to do? Well, I doubt they came here by mistake thinking it was a break room. They must have come to tamper with the switches. Did they turn off the power to something? Come to think of it, wasn't there something that lost power? What might have lost power had the breaker been flipped? What was it again, guys? Where was it? Prison search. What was the thing that said there was a, a thing? No. Wasn't working? No, that's not it. Topsy report? No. What was it, guys? I don't remember. I don't remember what it was. Open the doors. Raise an alarm. Held 3 times a day. Prison roll call. I'm looking carefully. Who do you think is gonna have the crazy transformation? I don't know. It could be anyone. The time slip is off, recorded around 9. This maybe? No. Okay, none of them are saying there was an outage. What might have lost power had a breaker been flipped? This maybe? The security gates? I thought we were looking for a different kind of evidence here.
Take that!
Okay, time to go to the guide. Time to go to the guide. I don't remember. I don't know the answer. So... Alright, shush. Shush. The guide says the security camera footage. So it could have been this too, but I guess it's this instead.
Take that!
Alright, cool. Come on, let me get back into my chat room. There was a 3-hour gap in the security camera footage. Come on. Oh yeah, there was. So somebody flipped the breaker it was connected to? It seems very likely. Do you think it was the killer? It's true that shutting off the cameras would have made things easier for them. It would. Which means the killer would have to be someone who had access to the breakers. And it seems only one person had the key. It couldn't be. Could it? Alright, little thief, your work here is done. Beep, beep, beep. Yay! Full health, baby. They're back. First on the scene, the early bird wins the worm. Good morning, Mr. Winner. What? You? How'd you get here before me? Good morning, Mr. Edgeworth. I see you made an early start. And I see you made a late one, Judge Gavel. This is not my only case. I am a very busy woman. Not all of us enjoy the freedom of a prosecutor relieved of his only current responsibility. Gurk. Oh, I do apologize. I meant, of course, an associate attorney. Associate? More like asinine. We'll see about that. Eustace, let us begin the investigation of the yard. Okay, I'll go get some officers to help. That won't be necessary. Why not? We've already finished investigating the yard and won quite the prize in the process. Won? But I'm supposed to be the winner. Your Honor. I'd like to revisit your theory from yesterday, in order to thoroughly disprove it. I would caution you to choose your words carefully, Mr. Edgeworth. As I am sure you remember, your badge is in my hands. How could I forget? You told me several dozen times already. Perhaps you care to try a different threat. You have been warned repeatedly, yes, and each time my words seem to have fallen on deaf ears. Allow me to make this crystal clear. The committee cannot and will not tolerate insubordination. The fate of my badge and the whims of the committee are of no concern to me now. The only thing that concerns me is proving Simeon Saint's innocence. Interesting, and spoken like a true defense attorney. In that case, I shall be equally uncompromising. In the name of the goddess of justice, I will strike down your case without mercy, and when I am done, your career as a prosecutor will be over as well. I hope you do not come to regret this. It's now posted. Alrighty. I'll check it when the stream is done. Pinky promise. By the way, if anyone knows the answer to these things, or has a hint to them or whatever, feel free to say them out loud. My theory remains the same as when I related it to you yesterday. Mr. Carcerado did not see Mr. Knight's body when he passed through the tunnel. As such, the body could have been only dropped down the well during the show. We both know that the only one who could have dropped the body down there during the show is Mr. Saint. That's still your assertion, and you can prove it, of course. Of course you can. Who do you think you're up against? What Eustace means to say is that we received the final autopsy report just ahead of our arrival. She really is a very busy woman, busy looking after baby Winner. The victim appears to have died the night before the body was discovered. In other words, the night before the show. The cause of death is as stated. It seems the wound is 4 inches deep. Simeon Saint was off stage for a period of 15 minutes. There was plenty of time for him to throw the victim's body down the well. Judge Cavell hasn't investigated the yard yet, which means... I fear there may be something of a flaw with your theory, Your Honor. You seem very confident of that. But do you have any evidence to prove it? Yes, I think I just might. Hey, Mafia! You're lurking, I gotcha. Hope your day was well, today. My theory remains the same as when I related it to you yesterday. That theory being that Mr. Saint was the killer. You're certainly clinging to it rather stubbornly. And you are certainly clinging rather stubbornly to the idea that Mr. Saint wasn't the killer. Do you have any conclusive evidence that he wasn't? Any idea who the real killer might be? I'd like to see what evidence you yourself have first. I am an emissary of the goddess of justice. My words are her words. But her words are wasted on you, I see. You would challenge me if I said the sky was blue. Is this a court or a cult? If you truly mean to refute my word of the divine, then come, show me your evidence. Mr. Carcerado did not see Mr. Knight's body when he passed through the tunnel. Isn't it possible that Mr. Carcerado simply failed to notice the body? Assistant to the Associate Attorney, you have been through the secret passage, have you not? Whoa, how'd you know? I noticed mud on you yesterday, on that charming key in your hair, to be precise. That's incredible. You could be a great thief with eyes like that. Answer me truthfully, in the name of the goddess. Would you or would you have not noticed a body that had one been present? Well, you know, I guess I would have. There you have it. Mr. Carcerado did not see a body, which means there was no body there to see. Gotta go homework? Alrighty, Vantera. I wish you luck on your homework. If you have a question on the homework, I'll attempt to answer it. And fail, probably. As such, the body could only have been dropped down the well during the show.
Hold
it! Could you talk us through your reasoning on that a little more? The day before the performance, Mr. Knight borrowed the keys from Mr. Carcerado. Or more specifically, be back soon, bro? Alrighty. Give your homework, Hal. Haha. More specifically, the key to his cell. Mr. Knight then used the key to leave his cell and enter Mr. Saint's cage. Mr. Saint took Mr. Knight to the yard in that cage, and that's where he killed him. The following day, Mr. Carcerado crawled his way through the tunnel, but there was no body there yet. Wait a second, doesn't add up. Mr. Carcerado smelled that sweet smell, so Mr. Knight must have been in the tunnel already. No, his body did not pass through the tunnel until sometime after Mr. Carceretto had crawled through it. Mr. Carceretto used the tunnel right around the time the show was starting. The body was discovered just after the performance ended, from which you deduced that the body could only have been thrown down the well during the show. Yes, and who the culprit must be. We both know the only one who could have dropped the body down there during the show was Mr. Saint.
Hold it!
Are you sure about that? Could nobody else have done it? I understand that Miss Barry was on stage for the entire performance. Most of the prisoners were watching the show, and those who were not have plausible alibis. What about the guards? They too were watching the show, as was the warden. How can you be so sure? A guard could have easily approached the well unnoticed. None of the guards left their post during the show. I have checked this for myself, you know. I took statements from each and every one of them. She's thorough, I'll give her that. Are you finally ready to accept the truth, that the killer could only have been Simeon Saint? Judge Cavell hasn't carried out a full investigation of the yard yet, which means we've got the advantage for a change. Should review the evidence we've gathered during our investigation of the yard. We'll confess, no idea. I'll make a couple of guesses, and then I'll look up a guide if I'm wrong. Maybe this dropped down the well during the show, but the power was out? Or the weird pulley system was going on?
Objection!
Yeah! Do you have any idea, Captain Chips, if you're still here? Wish that one dude was still here. The one dude who was like, who knew everything for sure. Yes, during the show, but there was no power.
Objection!
Yay! Woo! Yep. Wish it would like offer a clue, like the game itself would offer a clue. Let's try the same evidences again on this last statement.
Objection!
Aha! Ha ha! Ha 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 ha! It was the last statement, guys, not the other statement. It's a long time to wait, guys. It's the weird pulley system.
Objection!
Sorry, Your Honor, but there's something else you're going to have to take into account. The well in the yard was rigged up to create a certain unique contraption. A contraption? Go on. You will recall that Mr. Saint was sent flying from the stage by the elephant. I do, just before he was to be absent for some time. He was only able to fly through the air thanks to a weighted rope he tied around himself, dropping the weighted end down the well and allowed him to complete the trick.
Objection!
Wait, wouldn't that send him flying as soon as he set foot on the stage?
Hold it!
It's simple, really. He kept the weight from falling by using a stake to keep the rope in place. With a second rope, he was able to pull the stake free, thereby controlling when the weight was dropped. We have found evidence to suggest that the original weight was replaced with Knight's body. This was done by the real killer in order to create an alibi. The estimated time of death tells us that the murder took place early in the morning. The killer could have tampered with the contraption in the time between the murder and the show.
Objection!
Your cat says meow meow meow. Aww. Hope your cat's doing well, Hedge. And cute and well and awesome. Well then, who do you think is the #1 most likely person to have used it to dispose of the body, Even you must see how this looks. Better save just in case.
Objection!
Mr. Saint was the killer. He could have simply done as Judge Cavell theorized, without those extra steps. Miss Barry? Yes? Does anyone else know how Mr. Saint's trick works? Well, let's see. He had to get the prison's approval on what we were going to perform, so I don't think Simeon's the only one who knows. And there you have it.
Overruled!
Just crazy. I'm glad your cat is, good. Interesting. You have certainly been diligent in your investigation, and yet I fail to comprehend your actions still. Why do you not work to do what is right? Is what I'm doing wrong? If so, who is it that deems so? It's so. How can you not grasp even that? How can you not see that you are doing wrong at this very moment? You are a prosecutor, and yet you aid the defense. This flies in the face of common sense. You are breaking every rule in the book. I think only of what is right and just, and act as I see fit in each situation I am confronted with. This is the path I have chosen, and whether you can comprehend that choice is immaterial. But if you mean to stand in my way, I will fight back with all I can bring to bear. Perhaps the goddess of justice is testing me. Very well, if it is her will that we must fight, then I shall end this once and for all. Listen well, Mr. Edgeworth, for there is another reason why only Mr. Saint can be the killer.
Well, what's the other reason?
If the body was moved from the yard to the workshop, then Mr. Knight must have first been brought here to the yard from his cell. The only person who had the opportunity to do that is Simeon Saint, and thus he remains the only plausible suspect. Mr. Saint took a cage with him to Mr. Knight's cell, but why would he do that? Why take such an unwieldy object all the way to the holding cells? Yeah, it is pretty sus.
Oh my gosh. Why would someone say that in a game? Why?
But we've all met Mr. Saint. That's exactly the kind of thing he would do. It's entirely plausible that he took the cage with him out of absent-mindedness and nothing else. It may be plausible, but it is no more or less plausible than him having helped Mr. Knight to escape. Arrgh, I need some real solid evidence if I'm going to get her to budge. If the body was moved from the yard to the workshop...
Hold it!
You seem to think that Mr. Knight was killed here in the yard. When do you think he was brought here? Sometime between midnight and 8 a.m. the day of the show. It could only have been during that time. In other words, between the end of the rehearsal and the start of the performance. As I was saying, if the body was moved from the yard to the workshop, then Mr. Knight must have been first brought here to the yard from his cell.
Hold it!
Was there really no other way he could have come here? Mr. Knight was awaiting trial. If he, a random non-inmate, had openly entered the prison proper, he surely would have been noticed. And presumably none of your witnesses have testified to having seen such a thing. Precisely. Praise be to the goddess of justice for granting you this insight. So as you will agree, it can only be that Mr. Knight was brought over here in secret. The only person who had the opportunity to do that is Simeon Saint.
Hold it!
You're certain nobody else had the opportunity? Need I remind you that we are in a prison? The entire facility is monitored at all times. Anything out of the ordinary would have been spotted. Mr. Saint was under the same scrutiny, was he not? The warden has granted the members of the circus troupe special access. As members of that troupe, under the supervision of Miss Barry, he is the only person who is free to wander where he willed.
Objection!
It seems you've forgotten something, Your Honor. Forget is not a word in my vocabulary, Mr. Edgeworth. Very well, then recall this fact, if you will. You claim that Mr. Saint is the only person who was free to walk around the prison, but there was a brief period of time on the day of the crime in this prison, a time where it would have been possible for anyone to move through the prison entirely unmonitored. Do I have that shows there was a period on the day of the crime where oversight was limited? The breaker thingy? The breakers? Tampered? I wish I could have saved it. I'm so stupid.
Take that!
Yeah! To the guide I go! To the guide I go! Woo! Woo, 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 woo. Yay! I wish that one dude was here. Okay. Alright, I'm looking at the guide. The guide is being really weird again. Yep, I know. I'm stupid. I know. Please stop talking now. I was hoping to get through it with no damage, but yeah. Present the security camera footage on the third statement. I don't know, guys. I think at this point I might just stick to using a guide the whole time. I'm too stupid for these games. Security camera footage.
Objection!
Mr. Saint is far from the only one who had the opportunity. Which opportunity are we talking about again? We have previously established that the time code on the security footage was off by 3 hours, and from this we can deduce that there must have been a power outage lasting for that length of time, during which anyone could have moved around the prison undetected. Do you mean to say that our killer intentionally created this 3-hour gap? That it was no simple camera malfunction? Is that even possible? It was completely possible to create the 3-hour gap using this. Yeah, no idea. This maybe? Breakers?
Take that!
Oh wow, what a miracle. Our investigation of the yard turned up something rather interesting. A panel of breakers, one which can be used to cut the power to the security cameras. We also learned that the door to the power room may have been open at around the time of the murder. What? Such a shame to see one so capable fall so short of the mark. Mr. Edgeworth knows what he's doing. And how does he explain the lock on the power room door? Oh yeah, it was kinda locked up tight, and the warden's the only one with the key. Those breakers are vital to the prison's infrastructure, so I very much doubt that anyone could have gained access to the power room's key so easily.
Objection!
No, but one person could have. I beg your pardon. That person, the killer, had easy access to it, in fact. And what's more, their position here is such that nobody would dare question them. Ooh. Maybe you're right, Captain Chips.
Objection!
What? There's no one like that. The breaker to the electric fence is in there. It would be questioned in an instant. There's only one person who meets these criteria. I can hardly believe it myself, but I have to follow where the logic leads. Alright, Ultima, gonna go to sleep. Good night! See you later, Vantyra. I'll be stopping by again, don't you worry. I will see you soon, my friend. Good night, brother. Good night. Yep, it was Canis. Little did we know. But good night to ya. I guess it's you, Fifi.
Take that!
The real culprit is... Warden Lagarde. Oh, just look at you. Aren't you the cutest little poochie-woo? He's not just a pretty face. Missile also has quite the nose for sweet things. It seems he's smelling something very sweet indeed, and it's coming from you. Oh, darling, you're making me blush. I'm not even wearing perfume. Then perhaps it is the sweet stench of death. You're a regular poet, aren't you? I had no idea. But if I didn't know better, I'd almost think you were calling Moy the killer. That is precisely what I'm calling you. What? Warden Lagarde is the killer? Mr. Edgeworth, do you realize what you're saying? Oh, such a naughty boy. How could he suspect me, I'm the one in charge around here. Hope you have a good stream. Stream more tomorrow. Have an early day tomorrow, so you got more time to grind. Ooh, nice. Short school day, huh? I remember those. Those were the best. I'll see you then, my friend. Good night. Oh my gosh. It's like we're in a murder mystery, aren't we? An equally far-fetched shit. This is preposterous. Sadly, it is not, although I can hardly believe it myself. But this is where the evidence points, and we must trust in the evidence. The piece of evidence proves that Warden Lagarde is the killer. I wish we could save the game so we could not mess up and choose. 'Cause I don't know the answer. Crazy transformation time? Probably. Probably, maybe, probably. Health 3 times a day. Gavel and the Warden. No. My guess is Breakers. I'm gonna look it up. Let's see if I was right. Alright, give me a second. Let's see. Oh, it's this for some reason. Mr. Knight's body. Killer instantly stabbed by a throat. Small cut on the scalp. Oh, a sweet scent. I gotta read the things, guys. Always.
Take that!
Lovely. Okay. Your scent betrays you, Warden. And here is your accuser. The police dog. We had him track a sweet scent that was lingering around Knight's body back when it was first found. He now appears to be smelling the same scent, and it's coming from you. Oh ho ho, darling, you're priceless. Really you are. Your evidence is a whiff of suspicion. Verity dear, do put him in his place. It seems Judge Gavel may have reached a similar conclusion to myself. You believe this to be no mere coincidence, Mr. Edgeworth? I do. After all, she had the key, and the scent found lingering on the body is hers as well. Were it just one or the other, you might be able to brush it off as coincidence, however. Indeed, then it seems the conclusion approaches. Perhaps we should hear what the Warden has to say for herself. We should, and when we have, this case will finally be at an end. You're all being simply awful. Stop looking at me like that. Me, the killer? Smooch, how could I possibly do such a thing? Verity told me everything she knows about the case, sweetie. The victim died in his cell, so by your logic, I would have had to have killed him there. But how am I supposed to have moved the body, especially as I never went into the prison? I was too busy with work, you see. I was cooped up in my office until right before the show began. Dick, if you'd like, you won't find a record anywhere of my having entered or left the prison proper. Haven't the first idea where harebrained theories you little scamps have cooked up, but I'm innocent. There's simply no way I could be the killer. Give me a break. Missile doesn't lie. Don't make it hard on everyone and just come clean. Oh dear, I'm afraid you are the one making things difficult. As I just said, I never went into the prison. If you think I'm lying, go and check the records. She clearly wants us to check those records, which means they won't help us. We'll just have to find another way of getting the truth out of her. You swear if your gut instinct was right? Yeah, your gut instinct was right, alright. Please, Mr. Edgeworth, stop being a big silly. You've made a boo-boo and you know it. Verity told me everything she knows about the case, sweetie.
Hold it!
Judge Gavel told you everything? Are you? Close. Thick as thieves, darling. Why do you ask? Are you jealous? Jealous of what? I have to ask Warden Lagarde for a lot of information on the first day of our investigation. It seemed only right that I share some information in return. Oh, Verity, do you have to make it sound so awfully dry? I thought we had a lovely chat. I simply shared the truth in our conversation. It was the least I could do. I'm not sure what's going on, but these two, they're terrifyingly formidable together. The victim died in his cell, so by your logic, I would have had to have killed him there.
Hold it!
Ignoring that sharing information about ongoing cases is hells of illegal. So the warden and this judge are in trouble now. You two are in trouble! And why shouldn't I be? It seems the most likely place for it to have happened without drawing attention. And besides, they found Knight's blood in his cell. Yes, but that was from being struck by Mr. Carceretto. Though I needn't tell her that, I suppose. I take it there's also been no testimony to the contrary. What does it matter? Knight being killed in his cell doesn't go against any of the facts anyway. How am I supposed to have moved the body, especially if I never went into the prison?
Hold it!
Do you have any evidence that you didn't enter the prison? Please, darling, let me finish. I was too busy with work, you see. I was cooped up in my office until right before the show began.
Hold it!
So you were in your office the whole time, and you didn't notice anything unusual? No, I can't say that I did. And you didn't notice anything missing? I must confess I'm a rather messy girl, and a forgetful one at that. I put something down and it's lost forever. It's a curse, darling, a curse. Even lost some important evidence recently. It was gone. Poof, just like that.
What? And she still has a job?
Honestly, if somebody came into my office and took something, it might have been years before I noticed.
It seems like I'll need more than the power of room key to expose her.
On the day of the murder, I was working in my office, and looking for something I'd misplaced. Even if I'd had a reason to go into the prison, I simply wouldn't have the time. Check if you'd like. You won't find a record anywhere of my having entered or left the prison proper.
Hold it!
Sure, maybe you didn't go through the main entrance to the prison. What if you took another route? Oh, come now, sweetie. Surely you don't mean that awful, filthy tunnel they discovered. Why, until yesterday, I had no idea it had even existed. No, you had another way in. I'm certain of it. Might need a save here, just in case.
These games overlook non-murder-related crimes a lot.
I guess so. I guess they do. A route that didn't require going through the main entrance of the tunnel. The route you took when you went through this, you went through this location. The warden's office, maybe? You think?
Take that!
To be fair, murder is great. Murder is funny. Murder makes me laugh. Through the yard. The yard. Maybe the fence yard? Or just the normal yard? Through the fence? Warden, you took Knight from his cell and brought him to your office, which just happens to be connected to the yard. If you had a way through the fence, then you would have been able to circumvent both the entrance and the tunnel.
Good point.
Good point. Hee hee, a gold star for creativity, darling. And how would I have gotten through the fence, The extremely high fence, topped with razor wire, with thousands of volts of electricity going through it. Yeah, how'd you supposed to have gotten through that, The fence's electricity supply can be cut off from the power room, and only you had the key, Warden. No one but you could have done it. Utterly ridiculous. The power room is on the prison side of the yard. Warden Lagarde was on the detention center side. How would she even have reached the power room? This might be another.
So I'm just going to,
do the thing. Exactly, Verity, darling. Well, clever puss. You dug yourself a real hole now.
Gurk,
If there is no record of Warden Lagarde having entered the prison proper, then the idea she could have shut off the fence by using the breaker is out of the question.
Arg,
But there must be some way she could have done it. Take a deep breath, big guy. Lose your cool and you've lost everything. But if I don't find a solution, she might still wriggle out of this. Hey, I said take a deep breath, not freak out and completely lose your cool. There's nothing but to be gained by banging your head against the same wall, yeah? No matter how you look at it, Warden Lagarde couldn't have done it alone. Mr. Edgeworth, if you cannot find a... You aren't doing yourself any favors by obstructing justice with your silence. That was a reflexive objection, but now that I've yelled it, if I don't come up with an answer, it's all over. I have one more thing to add, if you'll permit me. Something that explains how the warden could have shut off the breaker from the wrong side of the fence. Yes, because it's not as impossible as it seems. Alright, now let me save. What enabled her to shut off the breaker? Her position, accomplice, time of murder. Her position? Cool. Alright, well, time to do the choices until we find the right one, guys. Who the flip would the accomplice be, though, if she had an accomplice? Come on now. Time? Nope, she had an accomplice. There's another accomplice for some reason. Cool. Who is the accomplice? No idea. The elephant, maybe? Accomplice maybe saw it. She couldn't have done it alone, but what if she wasn't alone? Ooh, now we're talking. Way to flex the old gray matter, kiddo. I believe that Warden Lagarde had an accomplice. Enough, you disappoint me, Mr. Edgeworth. What do you mean? Mr. Edgeworth had said nothing wrong. The inmates of this prison are all issued with security bracelets. Saw it, maybe? I'm not sure. The ones that raise an alarm if people go where they're not supposed to. Ah! I see that you have realized your error, and we are, of course, within the prison grounds, where not only are there bracelets worn, but even the guards surveil each other for signs of wrongdoing. And despite all of that, no one noticed Mr. Carceretto's escape. The only ones who are free to roam are the animals, and they most certainly could not have operated the breaker. No, so our accomplice must be human. Then who did it, given that it cannot have been a prisoner or a guard? Save the game again, cause I don't actually know. I wouldn't be so quick to rule out either, Your Honor. The fact is, there's one person, someone whose movements weren't restricted. I have just the evidence to show who that free-roaming person was. It was Mr. Sawet's bracelet!
Take that!
This is one of the prisoner's bracelets. Indeed, a broken bracelet belonged to a certain self-proclaimed model prisoner. What do you mean? And who is this prisoner? Frank Sawet, Warden Lagarde's favorite inmate. Oh, she's sweating. It's strange, isn't it, Warden, that he was able to keep his broken bracelet hidden and wander freely around the prison all the while? That is pretty funky, and I don't mean in a good way. It couldn't be the case that he was permitted some sort of special leeway, could it? Although, you are in the habit of giving such leeway to certain others, Bowden Harma Kindness, for example. Once again, he was right. Somehow. Mr. Edgeworth, that is pure speculation. In that case, why don't we ask Mr. Sawet himself? I'm confident he will confirm for us that he and Warden Lagarde were accomplices in this crime. The two of them had worked together, a certain route into the prison becomes viable. The real route by which Knight was moved from his cell to the prison proper. Recall that there were two big obstacles in her path. First, the security camera outside Knight's cell. Second, the electrified fence in the yard. But she was able to remove both obstacles in one fell swoop by having Mr. Sawet shut off the corresponding breakers. Alright, Mr. Edgeworth, you've had your fun. And, do you still deny it, Warden Lagarde? No, darling, you've got me. I admit it. Warden, tell me this isn't true. Sorry, Verity, honey. I'm afraid it is. Frankie helped me do it. No way. You did it, Mr. Edgeworth. You've got her. Nice shooting, cowboy. She won't be wriggling out of this now. As Mr. Edgeworth said, I had Frankie switch off the breaker. But we didn't kill Knight, did we? No, sweetums. No, we didn't. What? Warden, explain yourself. Oh, Verity, dear. I doubt your precious goddess will want to hear my excuses now. She is all-merciful. You have but to confess, and you shall be saved. Oh gosh, all right, I was being threatened. I had no choice but to do as he said. Who's he? Bowden Harma Canis, that awful assassin. Canis? How long has it been since that awful man came here to my beautiful prison? I'll never forget the day he arrived. The moment we were alone, he said this to me. You should know that I have other dogs. Dogs not confined to this fine institution. Others? Yes, very loyal dogs. Dogs who will do anything I ask of them. Of course, he wasn't talking about real dogs. He was talking about his very human cronies. And then he said one last thing. I would recommend that you take care in how you treat me during my stay here. I wouldn't want to have to set my dogs on you, or your precious family.
Beautiful prison?
Yep, this is a beautiful prison. Or it was beautiful.
I had no choice. I gave him that cell. I gave him everything he asked for.
Everything? Wait, is that how he became the fixer?
Yes, darling. I obeyed his every command and smuggled in for him all that he wanted. Eventually, I brought dear sweet Frankie into our little conspiracy. He agreed right away, of course, because I made things easier for him too.
So you were smuggling in contraband? How exactly? How in trouble would she be for smuggling contraband?
Once a week, late at night, Frankie would shut off the breakers. That allowed me to go from my office into the yard without being seen by the camera. And I simply dropped the packages down the well on the prison side and went back through the fence. Each one of them spritzed with a little of my perfume.
So that's what the sweet smell was.
Yes, it was a signal for Canis's dog. When he picked up that scent, he would fetch the packages and bring them back to his master.
This woman is the textbook definition of corruption.
Well, in that case, she would be tossed, I assume, right? Tossed. Probably joining the cellmates.
He had to make sure Rocco wasn't in his cell at the time, of course.
Can have been easy keeping him from finding out.
Oh, we're all very much creatures of habit here at the prison, darling. Everything runs down to a schedule. Meals, exercise hours, that sort of thing. We knew when he wasn't there.
Yep, just a touch.
And that adorable little bear of his freezes with fright at the sight of Canis's dog, poor thing. So there was no risk of him raising the alarm either.
She had oversight over everything here at the prison, which made her the perfect mule. With her on his side, Canis couldn't fail.
Frankie would sneak out again early in the morning to switch the breakers back on, and our work was done, apart from fixing the time codes on the cameras, which I would do later, when I got the chance.
You have shared a great deal, Warden. The Goddess of Justice will surely take your honesty into account.
I've been the most dreadful fool, I know I have. I'm supposed to be the one in charge. The day of Knight's murder was also one of our delivery days, and so Frankie, bless his heart, did his usual work with the breakers. But there was no package for me to deliver that day, so I didn't go out into the yard.
So that's the secret behind the fixer's system, and why she was...
The police have been trying to track down his accomplices for a long time. Even I have to lend them a hand myself, you know. Heaven knows how many times I've hauled the secretive scoundrel into my office to talk to me, but no matter what I say or how much evidence I present him with, he simply won't say a word.
That's why you were interrogating Mr. Canis over and over.
Exactly. I was trying to track down those horrible henchpeople of his.
Oh dear, look at this. That's scary.
I borrowed everything the police had on that rotten scoundrel. I watched his every move, intercepted every letter he wrote.
His letters. I suppose she must know about his correspondence chess games, too?
But no matter what I did, I couldn't turn up any clues as to who his underlings were. Living in fear like this, it's... oh, you just can't comprehend it.
As you have just heard for yourself, Mr. Edgeworth,
the words of Warden Lagarde's confessions have cleansed her of all suspicion.
Surely there is no need to hound her any longer. Has she really been cleared of all suspicion, though? Or is there more about her to uncover?
Why does this Goddess of Justice only have mercy for people
Gavel is fond of? I know. Funny that, eh? Funny that? There's definitely more. I'm sorry, Your Honor, but this conversation isn't over yet, and I think the Goddess of Justice would agree.
So you mean to make her suffer even more than she already has?
Unfortunately, her suffering under Mr. Canis does nothing to prove her innocence in Knight's murder. She admitted herself that she knew of and even facilitated the so-called fixture's delivery route. I believe she used the same route to move Knight's body.
And where is your evidence, Mr. Edgeworth?
It's in the fact that the sweet smell of Knight's body is the exact same scent Warden Lagarde uses to signal a delivery. What do you make of that?
Well, that's because we've done it so many times now, but the whole, well, probably smells of it. Some of it must have just rubbed off on his body.
That does match the statement that Mr. Carcerado provided. A smell. You always smell kinda nice down there. Nice? Gee, I don't know. Smelled sorta like dessert, I guess.
His words would seem to suggest that the smell had permeated the well.
Arg!
You've been rendered speechless, I see. Then I hereby move to adjourn this session of a court. No! What do we do, Mr. Edgeworth? What can I do? Is this as far as we go? Finally, so we're actually done? Yes, Eustace, it seems we are. By the power vested in me, this court is adjourned. Uh-oh. Not uh-oh. Who was that? Come on, Judge G. Things were just getting good. Fender, are you objecting to my adjourning this session? No. Wouldn't shout an objection if I wanted to do that. You do you, G. Adjourn, don't adjourn, whatever floats your boat. What are you doing, Mr. Fender? Don't worry about what I'm doing. Let's all just take a chill pill, shall we? By which I mean a square of chocolatey goodness. Anyone? Are you trying to get yourself charged with contempt of court? No, my bad. I just had a quick request to make is all. A semi-insane lawyer, that is. Ah, yes, I had forgotten that you were his real attorney, Mr. Fender. How could you? You're killing me here. Can you blame us? You've been making Mr. Edgeworth do everything this whole time. Why are you so chill? Why you chill, bro? Right you are, which is why I figured it's time to put in some work. Work, you say? Somehow I don't believe you've worked a day in your life. Let's say this is me doing some prep work for the upcoming trial. Mind if I question the witness? Now? Amusing, but what is there left to ask? I've got a feeling it's in my funny bone that Thief's here has the something more to tell us about the killer. Do I? Yes, indeed. See, as a major player on Team Simeon, I can spot a sympathizer when I see one. And you don't think he did it, do you? So tell us, who did? Come on, spill the beans. We're all ears. Mr. Edgeworth, what is he doing? He's trying to coax Warden Lagarde into giving something away. Ask yourself, why would she go to all the trouble of sending Knight's body on such an odd journey? It's because she wanted to frame Mr. Canis. She did? No way! If he was convicted of committing murder here, that could have been grounds for a transfer to another prison. Most likely a more secure facility. And where he'd be out of her hair forever, huh? Precisely. She saw her opportunity and seized it. No. Saint cannot be the killer. It's not fair. I was all ready to prosecute him. I know, right? But maybe we should find out what she thinks first. Don't want to get the wrong guy, yeah? Nice. Now Mr. Winter has to go along with it, too. Well, Warden, are you happy to testify further? Of course. How could I refuse this silver-tongued devil? Eddykins, you have such a way with words. Just doing my job, thief. Besides, one can't tell the truth without telling the whole truth, can one? I'm simply dying to tell all, Verity darling. Do say you'll let me. As you wish. Court is unadjourned. I can't believe you pulled that off, Mr. Fender. Well, me neither. Thank you for the timely intervention. Hey, it's the least I could do. Kay's not wrong. I've been bleeding on you hard, and besides, the defense never rests, am I right? Simeon's depending on us. Sadly, I think I just about exhausted my reserves of cool lawyer chat there. We can't foul this up now. Which means you're up to bet, Miles Smiles, Mick Smiles. Show 'em that never rest spirit. I shall. Fabulous, then let's get started. Edgy would not be so familiar with the Defender's Playbook. This is actually pretty clever. Yeah, he wouldn't. He was only a defense lawyer for one other time. Missed a lot, but Mr. Winter done anything? Has Mr. Winter done anything? Maybe? I don't know. I really don't think anyone could have done it but that dreadful man Canis. There's no telling what went on between him and the victim. Perhaps he simply took a disliking to him. He's certainly the type. But whatever the sordid details, it was him. He stabbed that poor man to death. And then he had his dog dispose of the body. That simply has to be what happened. He's been mostly a toady and twerp. Yep. The victim and Mr. Knight, yes. I did him the most terrible disservice. Yes, you killed him. I suppose you could put it that way. If there weren't such a sorry excuse for a warden, this would have never have happened. And that's why I have to clean up this terrible mess. Warden Lagarde, as ever, your honesty is truly to your credit. I'm certain Mr. Knight is looking down and weeping tears of gratitude. You clearly never met Mr. Knight. I really don't think anyone could have done it but that dreadful man Canis. Hold it! You seem very confident in your assertion. Why is that? Because all the other children in my little home are absolute sweethearts. They have faith in themselves and in one another. They have faith in the guards and me. And they work hard every day to better themselves. None of them would dare commit murder.
That's a very touching reason indeed. I don't believe a word of it.
But Canis, always rotten to the core, is the only one who would do something like that. There's no telling what went on between him and the victim, rather.
Knight was being kept in a holding cell, while Mr. Canis was in the prison proper. What could possibly have happened between them when they were at opposite ends of the facility?
Prisons aren't as big as they seem, you know. All kinds of awful things can happen.
But Knight only arrived 2 days before he was murdered. I can't imagine anything significant happening in that short space of time.
And you don't know Canis, my dear. He'll find a way. I'm sure of it. Perhaps he simply took a disliking to him. He's certainly the type.
Hold it!
The prisoners are sweethearts. They're the sweetest.
How could he take a disliking to somebody all the way over in the holding cells?
I'm just plucking possibilities out of the air, darling. As I said, there's no telling what really went on between them. You're so awfully serious, aren't you? Not that I mind, of course.
But why is she looking at me like that?
So noble, so dashing in the marvelous suit, so clever. I can feel myself becoming your biggest fan, darling. I really can.
No.
Stay with me, Mr. Edgeworth.
No, I wasn't prepared for that mental onslaught.
But whatever the sort of details, it was him. He stabbed that poor man to death.
Hold it!
What more can you tell about those sort of details?
Well, we all know what Canis once did for a living. I doubt the killing part gave him much trouble, especially as the victim was already injured. His neck, I think. Couldn't turn his head to the right, poor dear. That's what they told me when they brought him in anyway.
You must make him some sort of report for the warden when new prisoners are admitted. You seemed keen for us to think you didn't know much about Knight.
That's because I didn't, sweetie, and the victim was simply a fun target to that monster, nothing more. I expect Canis used the chisel that was hidden in that chess set, don't you? Awful grisly business. Just imagine, the man probably didn't even have time to cry out.
I see. Thank you for your thoughts. They were very helpful. Actually, I'd like to hear about them in a little more detail, if you don't mind.
Oh, Mr. Edgeworth, you're making me blush. I could chat with you all day. Oh, don't look so nervous, darling. I'm only teasing. Of course we can talk about them some more. Expect Canis to use the chisel that was hidden in that chess set, don't you?
Is Edgy getting another stalker? Oh, maybe. He could be.
Where was the chisel?
It was in the dog, not the other thing.
Objection!
But that's wrong, apparently. Ah!
Should we press, guys? Is the rule just press everything? Press until we can't press anymore. Chisel hidden in the chess set. Hit a chisel in there.
Objection!
Okay, it was the chess set for some reason. Press it like a panini. Yes. Warden Lagarde, you strike me as being more careful than the image you project suggests.
Oh, Mr. Edgeworth, please, call me Fifi, or Sweetie Pie if you prefer.
However, I think you may have been a little less careful than you realized in this instance.
Tee-hee, aren't you just the most adorable little creature? Don't be embarrassed, we're all family here.
No.
Come on, Mr. Edgeworth, don't let her get inside your head.
You said earlier that you didn't know much about Knight.
In which case, I find it rather strange that you know about the chisel. Well, of course I do, darling. Do you think we don't check prisoners when they come in?
Objection!
You believe in Ultima? Thank you, Edge.
I'm glad someone here does.
Ha 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 ha. You're not in talking your way out of this, Warden. That is entirely irrelevant, and you know it. Knight didn't bring the chess set into the prison himself. It was brought by Mr. Saint when he came to visit. Knight wouldn't have had it with him when he arrived.
Well, what? I mean, of course that when Mr. Saint came in, we...
Objection!
You checked him? I find that hard to believe, because if you did, that makes your story all the stranger. You found the chisel. Why did you not confiscate it there and then?
Eek!
Judge Gavel, did you tell anyone about the hidden compartment in the chess set?
I did not.
If no one leaked our findings, then how exactly did you learn about the chisel, Warden Lagarde? Your cousin certainly couldn't have been when you checked Mr. Knight or Mr. Saint on their arrival. Indeed, such a thing would imply an intentional oversight if he had been around yet let through. Precisely. So Warden Lagarde, and answer truthfully this time. Where and when did you learn about the chess set? If you won't answer, then allow me. I submit that you...
Alright, darling, there's no need to rub it in. You got me, alright? A question, Knight. That was when I learned about the chess set. But please, you have to believe me, I did not kill him.
One moment, Warden. This is a significant development. The court requests that you make a detailed statement on the record. Any objections, Mr. Edgeworth? None, Your Honor.
Thank you, darlings. I'll clear up this awful misunderstanding, I promise.
Very well. Go ahead, Warden Lagarde, and please tell the truth this time. Her lies are starting to wear thin. This is my chance to expose her.
I said I questioned Knight, but it wasn't anything serious, you understand? I make a point of talking to every newcomer to our little home. Knight was no different. We just had a little chat, you might call it. And after we talked, I had him taken back to his cell straight away.
The more she lies, the more thorough she steals her fate. So it was simply a conversation with the new detainee? That seems entirely above board.
Exactly, Verity, darling. I knew you'd understand.
Objection!
Well, I don't. What proof do you have to back up your statement? I suppose we shall see, won't we? Mr. Edgeworth, you may begin your cross-examination.
I said I questioned Knight, but it wasn't anything serious, you understand?
So am I right in assuming that you talked to Knight the night before the show?
Exactly, darling. It would have been around 3 a.m. on the 27th.
3 a.m. That falls squarely within the window of time laid out in the autopsy report. That seems rather late for a friendly chat. Wouldn't he have been asleep?
Normally, yes, but if you remember, a guard was attacked in his cell. They're to examine the scene of the crime, gather information. These things take time, sweetie. I assure you he was wide awake. We all were.
Regardless, I find it somewhat odd that you would choose to question him at such a late hour.
Oh, you're such a tease, aren't you? Anyway, no matter how odd you think it is, I had him brought to me, and that's what happened. Must you really insist on questioning every last thing I say?
Sorry, Fiefs. He's like a dog with a bone sometimes. I'll be sure to scold him once we're done. Though, would you mind giving us a little more info? Like where you had him brought to?
My office, of course. Smooch. Where else?
Her office, which is where we believe the body was moved from. Would you mind appending what you just said to your testimony?
Tee-hee. Anything for you, darling? It was around 3 a.m. the night before the show. I had him bring to my office.
Hold it!
Did we do this already?
Remind me where your office is?
You've seen the sign in the detention center corridor, I imagine.
The one that says no entry?
That's it, sweetie. My office is just up in there. A short walk from the holding cells.
I understand that you also have access to the yard.
Why, of course. That's where my gorgeous little garden is. Oh, I see where you're going with this. You're saying that's how I move the body.
You have the means and the opportunity. It's hardly impossible. She questions a criminal, finds out he has a weapon, and doesn't do anything about it? I guess not.
Yeah, she's a bit
not good at her job.
Objection!
There's no other way that the body could have been moved. Surely you haven't forgotten that it was Mr. Saint who dropped Mr. Knight's body down the well.
Yeah, what she said. You're miles off, Edgeworth.
Nah, probably shouldn't push this any further for now.
I make a point of talking to every newcomer to our little home.
Hold it!
What did you and Mr. Knight speak about?
Oh, nothing much. Just some small talk, really. Asked him about what animals he liked, what his hobbies were.
His hobbies? Then I imagine you talked about chess? Oh yes, I couldn't stop him
Talking about it, in fact. Even had a piece of paper covered with little notes about it in his cell. At least I think that's what they were about.
So she's seen Knight's correspondence chess diagram.
Knight was no different. We had a little chat, you might call it.
Hold it!
How was he when you spoke with him?
Oh, he was so open and honest, darling. Well, what?
That guy? Honest?
He was talking about one croissant and promoting a prawn. I suppose he must have been hungry.
and peasant and promoting a pawn, seems he spared no one from his obsession with chess.
And when we talked, I had him taken back to his cell straight away.
Hold it!
If he really had gone back to his cell, he would still be alive today.
You really think I murdered the poor man right there in my office, don't you? What would my motive have been, darling? I told you, I barely knew him. I'm no angel. I have my grudges against Canis, but Knight has nothing to do with that animal.
She really does hate Canis. Warden Lagarde, I must insist that you append that statement to your testimony.
I'm no angel. I had my grudges against Canis, but Knight had nothing to do with that animal.
Alright, Knight had nothing to do with it. Saint would faint when he sees a body. When he sees a body, not move it.
Yeah.
Saint would not be happy with a Bodhi. Nothing to do with that animal.
Objection!
Judge Gavel, I'd like you to take a look at this. Notes about a game of chess. What is the significance of this, Mr. Edgeworth? It was found in Knight's cell, which is exactly where you said you saw it too, Warden Lagarde. But you didn't just see the game in Knight's cell, did you? You've seen it in Mr. Canis' cell too.
Well, what do you mean?
Objection!
Oh, come now, don't tell me you haven't taken a look at the chessboard in maximum security. I imagine you watch his every move like a hawk. Or rather, I imagine you feel that doing so is your only option. If she wants to find out who his cronies are, right? Personally, interrogating your own prisoners is highly irregular, to say the least. But as you said, Mr. Canis had threatened you. He put your precious home at risk. That's why you took it upon yourself to question him. Wanted to find out who his dogs were.
And so what if I did?
You also told us that you read his letters, which means you must have known about one key fact. You knew he was playing correspondence chess.
Ah!
And then who should appear but Knight, carrying with him a diagram of a very particular game. We ourselves used that diagram to infer a connection between the two men, and it seems you came to the same conclusion. But in your fear, you took your reasoning one step further. You surmised that Knight was Mr. Canis' henchman, sent to kill you. Which is the real reason she had that chat with the Bronxster. If his boss wouldn't correct, maybe he would. And when you questioned Knight, you made another discovery. Further inside his chess set, you found a hidden chisel. The murder weapon itself. As far as you were concerned, the chisel meant one thing, Canis. Thus, you convinced yourself that Knight was working for Canis, and that is why you killed him. I see you have no more excuses. Judge Gavel, your verdict, please. Much as it grieves me, there would appear to be little room for doubt. I hereby give my verdict. Bronco Knight was murdered by... In the name of the goddess of justice, who is it this time?
He.
Warden?
He. It's a joke. It's all a big stupid joke. You people just don't get it, do you?
I think we've proven that it's you who didn't understand things correctly.
Me? Please, darling, I understand it's all perfectly well, thank you very much. And I understand that there's a glaring contradiction in your theory, Mr. Edgeworth.
Oh my gosh. That fox creature's going crazy. This case has taken like 7.5 total hours. Yep. This is a longer one for sure. Heh, you're just grasping at straws now. I have no time for this, Your Honor. The verdict. I'm curious to hear what the warden has to say. What?
You're a doll, Verity. I have just one last thing to say, and Mr. Edgeworth can declare himself the winner.
You rang?
Does anybody remember a certain autopsy report?
Of course, we received the finalized version only this morning.
That's right, and I was listening to what you told us about it, Verity, even if nobody else was. You said the wound was 4 inches deep.
4 inches? Wait.
Riddle me this, Mr. Edgeworth. How does a tiny chisel make a 4-inch wound?
No!
Forgive me, O goddess. I came perilously close to making a terrible mistake. Looks like your theory is the one that doesn't hold water, Mr. Edgeworth. What now,
What do we do? It'll be fine. Mr. Edgeworth always comes through. Right, sir?
Looks to me like the Milesatron's out of commission.
You're an attorney too, aren't you? Why don't you do something? Turn things on their head with a desperate bluff. Blurt out the first mind-blowing thing that comes to you.
Look, Detective, I'm as much of a man of action as the next guy, but without evidence, we're up a creek without a paddle here. This might be the end of the road. We can't give up now. We have to do something. I'm certain that Warden Lagarde is the killer. It's the only explanation that fits the fact of the case. But if the chisel wasn't the murder weapon, what other bladed weapon is there in this facility? The crocodile? It seems we do not have all the answers, nor the evidence to provide those answers. Alas, we must wait until the trial to see this matter resolved, I'm afraid. Oh, come on, G. You're just giving the killer a chance to destroy the evidence. There is something in the crock? Yeah, whatever's in the crock. Are you calling the judicial process into question, Mr. Fender? Eep! Nope, not me, nuh-uh. I tried, Miles. Any bright ideas? What is the real murder weapon, since it's clearly not the chisel? Confound it, the question throws everything we've deduced out the window. Nothing to add, Mr. Edgeworth. Allow me to remind you that claims not supported by sufficient evidence are subject to the harshest penalties. It's hopeless. I can't think of anything. Need more time. Loath as I am to admit it, You can't give up now. Remember what Mr. Fender said? Simeon's counting on us. Without us, he's... Remember how upset he was? He was devastated. Nobody's in more pain than him over Mr. Knight's death. There's no way he did it, but if we can't save him, who will? And what's more, he believes in us. He's sitting in that cell waiting for us to bring him some good news. And I, for one, won't walk away until we have some. Kay. Gee, Miles, your little buddy there's quite the motivational speaker. And she's right, too. When you find yourself on the ropes, think of your client. Picture them pleading with you to help them. Doesn't that make you want to fight back as hard as you can until the very end? Think of your old man, good old Gregory. No matter how bad things looked, he'd always find a way to turn it around and save his client. You're just like him, right? If there's any way to force a turnabout here, you're the one who will find it. Simeon's counting on you. Judge Gavelle, you seem to have recovered your composure, Mr. Edgeworth. But if you mean to attempt a defense, I would advise you to consider the ramifications. You have repeatedly proposed misguided theories and had made numerous false accusations. If you do so again, I will have no choice but to judge you unfit to serve as a prosecutor, and relieve you of your badge for good. She's right. I have put forward a number of theories that prove to be flawed in one way or another. Have made some sort of fundamental oversight? Wait, she said my theories were misguided. Nothing to say, and the court will tolerate no more of your time wasting. I hereby... Sir! Mr. Edgeworth! Give my verdict. That's it. I've been thinking about it the wrong way all this time. My theories weren't misguided. I was being misled. The defendant, Simeon Saint? I think it's a little soon for that, Your Honor. I'd say it's well past due, darling. Wouldn't you agree, Verity? Mr. Edgeworth. You may proceed. What? I'd like to remind you of a few things. The sightings of his dog, Helmut, the fact that he wasn't at the show, these and other factors made Mr. Canis the obvious suspect at first. This again, Mr. Edgeworth? You seem almost proud of your blunder. But what if the real killer wanted us to suspect Mr. Canis? What if it was all carefully arranged? And what if the same was true of the chisel, our purported murder weapon? Mr. Knight had been stabbed multiple times in the same place with a bladed instrument. What if he was stabbed with this chisel after the real murder weapon had been removed? Just to leave traces of blood on us for us to find. That was how the killer misled us into thinking the chisel was the murder weapon. But why mislead us in this way? Why indeed? What makes us think the chisel is the murder weapon rather than whatever there was really used? It is transferred. Canis transferred. Canis transferred? Warden, you took advantage of what the chisel seemed to suggest. What is suggested? What are you talking about, darling? Mr. Winner, if I were to tell you the murder weapon was a chisel, what would you think? Huh? That Mr. Canis is the killer. And there you have it. That was the trap the warden set for us. Oh, Mr. Canis had a bunch of chisels, so she wanted us to think it was one of his, right? Indeed, that was her plan right from the start. To frame Bodenharma Canis. Your reasoning would appear to be sound. Warden Lagarde certainly seems to harbor a deep and abiding hatred for Mr. Canis. However, I think you know what I am going to say next. That alone is not sufficient proof that Warden Lagarde is the killer. I knew that wouldn't be enough. There's only one thing that would prove it. A real murder weapon that we now know must exist. You cannot prove your theory, then this conversation ends here. You could just find the real murder weapon.
Objection!
How many times must we go over this? We searched the prison from top to bottom. Eustace is quite right. No other possible murder weapons have been found. I'm afraid you're at a bit of an impasse. I can still prove my case yet, Your Honor, because it's still here inside this prison. This would have been made sure of that. The security gate? I'm glad you at least remember what it is. And do you remember what it does? Of course I do. I'm not an idiot. The security gate detects metal, which means you can't bring anything metal into the prison or take it out. Oh! Precisely. If there is another murder weapon, it cannot have been taken off the premises. But nor can it have been brought into the prison in the first place. And so we find ourselves right back to where we began. Judge Cavell, what I'm trying to tell you, Mr. Edgeworth, is that if you wish me to believe that there is another murder weapon here in the prison, you will also have to explain to me how it got here. Alright, we know that the chisel was smuggled into the prison inside the pocket chess set. Time to save the game again. But our contention is that the chisel is not the real murder weapon. So if the weapon came from outside the facility, then there must have been a way to bring it in. Yes, the question of the hour is this. Can you show me the alternate route? Arg, how did the weapon Warden Lagarde use to get into the prison? You borrowed evidence from the police to help with your investigation, is that correct? Why, yes, sweetie. Everything related to Canis is with me now. Heaven knows how many times I've hauled the secretive scoundrel into my office to talk to me. Of course, that's how. The fact that this is here with us shows how a bladed object could have been brought into the facility as well. The fact that this is here with us shows how a bladed object could have been brought into the facility. No. I don't know what this is. This, maybe? Chisel will be my guess. If it's wrong, then so be it. Give me a second, guys. Give me a second. Give me a second. It's this, actually, not the other one. The breakers? Sorry about the caps. It's fine. It's the bells, apparently.
Take that!
Why is it the bells? No idea. Allow me to remind you of our conversation with Mr. Canis yesterday. It was but one of my bells out of only 2 in existence. Oh, you think I remember that? I don't remember he said that. That was like a year ago when he said that. Come on. Okay, 2. Just 2. 2 and only 2. One for my knife and one for my beloved helmet. Exquisitely crafted, utterly unique. My ears are my guide after all, and I must be able to use my tools precisely. Of course, as you said, the knife had long since been taken from me. So you see, there is a way for objects to be brought into the prison unscrutinized, as part of the evidence Warden Lagarde borrowed from the police. What? Mr. Canis' knife was part of the evidence in the case against him, and that evidence was here in the prison. Not only that, but the knife had a certain bell attached to it. The bell that was attached to the chisel. Correct. The killer took the bell from the knife and attached it to the chisel. But that can't be right. The chisel only had Mr. Knight's fingerprints on it. Easy enough to explain if the killer wore gloves. She made it look as if the chisel was the murder weapon and then attached the bell to it. In doing so, she made sure that all the evidence pointed to Mr. Canis. And who had the access to the evidence from which the bell was taken? Why, only the person to whom it had been entrusted.
Who was it, sir? Who's been messing with the evidence?
I believe that would be you. Isn't that correct, Warden Lagarde? But bells aren't exactly rare, you know. Anyone could have set that up. Heh, unluckily for you, that isn't quite true. These particular bells are unique, because there are only 2 of them in existence. What? What? By attaching that bell to the chisel, you are as good as declaring yourself the killer. But you don't have any proof that the knife was ever there to begin with. I don't, not yet anyway. Mr. Winter, I'd like you to order another search of the prison right away. Huh? But if you do find something, that's going to make things awkward for me. This isn't about what's convenient for you. You have to find the truth. You're a prosecutor, aren't you? Well, yeah, but, you know.
This worthless excuse for a prosecutor. If I had an investigative authority, I wouldn't be sitting on it.
Anyhow, it's not my decision to make. The warden would have to authorize it.
You know full well that she will do no such thing. You have the power to insist on a search. Use it.
Sorry, darling, but not without the evidence.
The goddess of justice cannot bestow her blessings on those who lack the proof to support their claims.
Our work here is done. The rest of this matter will have to be settled in the courtroom.
No. If we give Lagarde the opportunity, she'll destroy whatever evidence is left. I have to object. I have to stop them. But what do I say? I don't have anything concrete to offer. What am I thinking? I'm never this reckless. But no, I can't back down now. I've got to put everything on the line. I'm a prosecutor right now. I'm an associate attorney with a client to defend. Only I can save Mr. Saint, and that means... Even if my chances are 1,000,000 to 1, it's still worth a shot. It's now or never. Should I object?
I'll assume...
Save the game, just in case something goes wrong.
I suppose this must be how a certain serial bluffer always feels. Regardless, I cannot walk away.
Objection!
Wait, Your Honor.
This had better be good, Mr. Edgeworth. I've got it.
Got what exactly?
The real murder weapon, of course. I know where Mr. Canis' knife is.
Do you really, Mr. Edgeworth?
I do.
Not at all.
If I did not know better, I would say that you were bluffing. Ha! You ruined me, Your Honor. I know nothing. I don't know the meaning of the word.
Grr, this is terrible for my heart.
There's no way you could. He's not here, I tell you. Well, would you be so kind as to enlighten us? Where's the real murder weapon?
Think, Miles, think. Somewhere not even the police would search. A blind spot in this zoo. A hiding place that the warden could be absolutely sure of.
A hiding place? No.
If you insist. Come on, Helmut. Open up. Did she use the same trick? No, that's ridiculous, isn't it? But the more I think about it, how many foolproof ways to evade detection could there be?
Mr. Edgeworth, how long do you intend to keep us waiting?
There's the faintest possibility I'm right, but if I'm wrong, we stand to lose everything.
Your Honor, this is where the real murder weapon is hidden. Right there.
Take that!
Here, in the yard? Indeed. I don't believe you, I understand. Would you care to explain a little more?
Where exactly is the real murder weapon hidden?
In the croc's belly.
Take that!
Of course. That's what it must have been.
Huh?
What's the matter, detective?
It's the metal detector, sir. It's, reacting to the alligator.
What? How? The metal detector was reacting to something inside her after all. Your Honor, I'd like to remind you that this piece of evidence... The chisel. Didn't we just figure that it isn't the murder weapon? You might recall that Mr. Canis hid this chisel in his dog's mouth. Would you believe that the real murder weapon was hidden in much the same way?
That's right, the murder weapon is hidden inside the alligator in that pond over there.
What?
No way! We detected the presence of a metallic object during our earlier investigation. Judge Gavel, we need to know what's inside that alligator. Understood. Then we will need to summon a veterinarian.
I'm sure I could get in the little sweetie to open up for us. I'd be happy to give it a try.
Please, by all means. Aw, crikey. Warden Lagarde, the real murder weapon is about to be revealed.
Why not do the right thing and confess?
I've nothing to confess. As you wish, then you can simply wait and watch as your lies are exposed.
Grr.
Sir, we got it.
This has to be it.
It's over, Fifi Lagarde. The real murder weapon was Bowden Harmelcanis' knife, making you the only person who could have killed Bronco Knight.
I'm not the criminal here. This is all Canis' doing. I did the right thing. Knight was a threat. He was Canis' lapdog. Curse that despicable man, Canis. Why did he have to come and ruin my perfect little home? We could have been happy forever if it wasn't for him. He ruined my paradise on Earth. He ruined everything. Curse him! Curse that pitiless butcher, that awful, terrible, despicable man! Curse him!
Oh! Oh my god. Holy crap. That was something. There's a big infestation in this prison, guys. Prosecutor, the winner, sir. The test results have just come back. The winner? I guess we're all been under a lot of stress. Traces of Bronco Knight's blood were found on Mr. Canis' knife. Just like you said, sir. Congratulations on a stunning victory. So her jacket was alive. It was. Where would Lagarde be on the kill this man list, by the way? She is a wee bit corrupt, but she was threatened also.
Thank you, officer. Excellent work. You can continue complimenting me if you like.
Yes, sir. The winner wins again. I think I'm welling up a little. With rage.
Excellent work, Eustace. Just a few loose ends to tie up and we're done. Huh? What are you talking about? I just solved the case, didn't I?
You have yet to confirm whether or not Knight really was working for Mr. Canis. It will be vital to know if Warden Lagarde was simply jumping to conclusions on that front.
Huh?
There's Clueless, and then there's you.
Well, then I guess we better get back to our investigation. Alright, officer, you're with me. You're about to see the winner win a whole lot more. Prepare to witness first-rate investigative talent in action.
Yes, sir. Right with you, sir. Can't wait to watch you at work.
It's winning time. I expect this case will cause quite a stir. The attempted murder of a president is news enough, and now his would-be assassin has been murdered.
But Knight never sought to kill the president in the first place.
The truth is not always as important as it might seem, Mr. Edgeworth, in the eyes of both society and the law.
How can you even say that?
You do not have to believe me. However, as a prosecutor, Mr. Edgeworth is obliged to accept that this is the reality of the world he operates in.
Being a prosecutor is about more than proving people guilty. That is what I believe.
We are all free to believe as we choose, but the law is not to be toyed with for our own personal goals. If you refuse to accept this, then you must prepare to suffer the consequences.
What does that even mean? Wait, you're not gonna take his...
Shh. I'm afraid I must be going now. Farewell, Mr. Edgeworth.
Judge Gavel is right. There must only be one set of laws for everyone. But if following the law means sacrificing the truth, can I really do that in good conscience?
Simeon, you're out! Hi, Regina. Is everything alright? They did let you out, right? Yeah? But I'm so confused about what's going on. Some guy just came and said I was free to go, and that I have Mr. Edgeworth to thank. You sure do. Mr. Edgeworth found out who the real killer is. Wow, really? You did that for me, Mr. Edgeworth? Heap? Oh no. No. Stop staring at me like that. I'm innocent, I swear. Don't pull the rug out from under me now. Stop it, silly. It's true. He saved you. So say thanks already. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. Thank you. And a great big Regina Berry thank you from me, too. Mr. Saint talking directly to me? Small victories, I suppose. Can I just ask one question, Mr. Attorney? Sure. I'm actually an attorney, though. I thought Bronco was my friend. No, my best friend. I trusted him, but now? Well, it's just, I never knew. I never would have believed that he could hate somebody enough to want to kill them. If he kept something like that from me, then he never really trusted me, did he? That's not true, Simeon. Of course he trusted you. No, he didn't. If he just told me, I could have stopped him. I could have told him that that hate never helps, that he had to let go of all that stuff. Mr. Saint, I think you're forgetting something. Should show him the thing that proves Knight trusted him. To the guide, I forgot. Okay, game. I guess it's the chess set. I forgot that he gave it to him. You think I remember that? Of course I don't.
Take that!
It's the chess set I brought for him. Yeah, I forgot about that completely. Knight had hidden a chisel inside. I imagine he meant to use it to escape. Well, what? You mean he was using me? No, he believed in you. He knew he could count on you to bring it, and that you would never be so untrusting as to look inside. I imagine that by not telling you, he was hoping he could keep you from getting caught up in his mess. Oh. But Bronco, why didn't you tell me? At least you understand now, right, Simeon? I'm sure he does. He may not show it, but Simeon's no dummy. A good night's sleep and he'll be completely over this whole thing by tomorrow. That's not as complimentary as you think it is. Sniffle. I'll try. I have to, for Bronco. I have to show him I can become the best animal trainer out there. That's the spirit. Creepy. Oh, I almost forgot. We're doing a new show soon. I'd love it if you could come, Mr. Edgeworth. Oh, snap. It's him again. Remember him? I'll be joining Regina on stage for this one. That's right. The Berry Big Circus is the biggest, most fabulous event in town. You'll have oodles of fun. Sounds great, doesn't it, Mr. Edgeworth? Come on, we've got it. We have to go. Well, I'll think about it. Alright, Simeon, we've got some training to do. I think it's time for you and Regent got acquainted. What? Regent the tiger? No way, I can't. No. Oh, you'll be fine, silly. You'll never meet a nicer kitty cat. I can't. That, the cloak, the third thing I forgot? The white roses. The white roses. Please, Regina, anything but that, please. Another satisfied customer. Well, that was really something, Smiles. Talk about pulling it out of the bag. I couldn't have done it without you, Fender. Without your timely intervention, she would have gotten away. Besides, I have you to thank for even being able to investigate the case in the first place. Oh, stop it. Pat me on the back any harder and you're gonna make me blush, or topple over. Suppose it would be asking too much for you to take this seriously. Seriously? Miles, my friend, I'm always serious. Anyway, how does it feel to save an innocent client? That's what it means to be an attorney, after all. To be an attorney. Gotta say, I had a blast. Reminded me of the good old days. Like Gregory was standing there right beside me. It's been like a zillion years since I felt this warm and fuzzy on the job. That's good? Bittersweet? I'm not sure. Say, Miles, you ever thought about going into the defense game full-time? Excuse me? You know, pick up where Gregory left off, get out there and actually help people? Hey, pal, don't get any big ideas. Mr. Edgeworth ain't about to switch sides.
Why not? Coming over to the light side's all the rage. Everybody's doing it these days. Come on, Mr. Fender, you know it's not about that. Chill, team, chill. Don't get it twisted. I was just asking a perfectly innocent question. No, you weren't. Heck, you were. Looks like you've got a mean defense team there yourself, Miles. Fender, I'm a prosecutor. Yep, and I'm an attorney. You could be one too. I'm serious. Well, I've said my piece. You change your mind, you know who to call. I'll be waiting. Your life, your choice, Edgeworth. You got it? Follow in my father's footsteps. Could I really do such a thing? I'm going to become a defense attorney just like my dad. An attorney like my father. In a suspicious trench coat. Me? Hi. Hey, Blue Thunder. Oh, we did it, guys. Oh my gosh, I thought that case would never end. And that was only the second case, too. How much longer are the other ones gonna be? Blue Thunder, are you ready for the next case? Turnabout Legacy? Let's do it! Woo, good job. What will this case be about, I wonder? Will it be a legacy? You're doing good. I'm doing good too. Cake! What shall we make today, kids?
Samson.
And Judy's Bake Bomb.
Voice acting? What? Macarons, waffles with cream, chiffon cakes that are light as a dream. Laugh and sing, smile, it's true, all that sweetness waiting for you. What, where? Over there. Oh, the oven's got something special to share. Ping! Now let's see what we've got for you. It's cooking time. Are you ready to make something special together? Maybe. A children's baking show? I guess so. Wow, talk about a blast from the past. Hey, Gregory. I'm going back there, tomorrow, with your boy. I'm finally going to find out what happened 18 years ago. Maybe that was an old video. I don't know. You're confuzzled? Me too. April 2. Zodiac Hall. Fountain Room. Well, Fender, are you finally going to tell me what we're doing here? Why have you brought me to an art gallery of all places? Hey, you had nothing going on. Seems like the perfect chance to come and enjoy the magic of star sign stuff together. I'm leaving. Chill, big guy. I'm just joking. You know about the IS-7 incident, yeah? Your old man's last case? Of course. Von Karma took great pleasure in showing me the files. As soon as I became a prosecutor... Fender's gonna be a bit more important. Oh yeah, I think so too. And I reviewed them again last night after your invite, see? I was also present at the trial all those years ago, although my memories of it are somewhat hazy. Ooh. As a child, I was completely in awe of my father. The sight of him in court was inspirational. Gregory Edgeworth, attorney at law, and opposite him, the man who would become my mentor, Manfred von Karma. It was quite a case. However, it ended with the conviction of the accused. Ah, so you were there too? You were in the courtroom for Gregory's final outing? Well, that'll make explaining things easier. Wanted you to know something, see? That's something being what really went down. Not the truth in those files, but the capital T truth. It was 18 years ago, smack dab in the middle of a real doozy of a winter. The buildings were covered with a blanket of snow. It looked like the streets were lined with popsicles. But things weren't so innocent behind those frozen doors. In fact, some pretty sordid stuff went down. That was back before you truly was the fine figure of an attorney you see before you today. 18 years ago. We're going back in time, guys. This wasn't a trailer. I knew about this. Going back in time. Also, December 24th. I never knew this was a Christmas game. Hey, Mr. E. This one really came out of the blue, huh? It did. We were called in before the ink on the arrest papers were even dry. My name is Gregory Edgeworth. I'm a defense attorney. I'm here visiting a client with my assistant Eddie Fender. A murder on Christmas Eve? What's the world coming to? In the dark of night, the end of the day, I saw two timely saviors a-comin' my way. Oh. Welcome, my friends, to the visitor's room, and if we're not friends yet, I'm sure we will be soon. Whoa, talk about an entrance. Look at the guard. Talk about an entrance. I was not expecting that. Neither was I. Sorry if I surprised you. I'm just so happy to see you both. Thanks so much for coming out. Seriously, I can't thank you enough. You're the accused, I take it. I am Gregory Edgeworth, attorney at law, at your service. I look forward to representing you. This is my assistant, Eddie Fender. But pleased to meet you, sir. I'll do, everything I can to help. Come now, Edward. Calm down, please. You'll have to forgive him. He's still new to this. He's been helping me out part-time, but he's far from a fully fledged lawyer material yet. Nonetheless, I'm hoping he'll be of some assistance in investigating the particulars of this case. Gregory and Eddie, it's an honor to meet you both. My job as a defense attorney is to save my clients from wrongful convictions. Jazz hands. Is that what that pose means? Jazz hands? So the first thing to do is establish whether or not he is truly innocent. Perhaps we could begin by having you tell us a little about yourself. What am I thinking? I haven't even told you my name. I'm Samson Tangaroa. Tangaroa. What? It really is you? Samson Tangaroa? The world's greatest confectioner? You flatter me, my young friend. And call me Samson. All my pals do. Wow, thanks, Samson. I will. I can't believe I'm meeting you in person. It seems Eddie knows something of our client. Mr. E, it's the Samson Tangaroa. The singing, dancing, confectionery making sensation. Oh, okay. What shall we make today, kids? Macarons, waffles with cream, chiffon cakes that are light as a dream. Laugh and sing, smile, it's true. All that sweetness waiting for you. Look there, what, where? Over there. The oven's got something special to share. Ping! Now let's see what we've got for you. I almost started dancing along. Waffles. Waffles. I like waffles. No way. I got to sing with Samson Tangaroa. This is truly a dream come true. Heh. Thanks, little pal. It means a lot to hear you say that. My apologies, but I think we need to discuss the matter at hand. Of course, I'm sure you're both very busy. Alright, where would you like me to start? So you're not just a confectioner, but also a singer and a dancer. Can I see something? There's my attorney's badge. There's the attorney's badge, it's back. Wow. And there's these three. I sure am. When I'm having fun, my body just starts moving. Must really enjoy making desserts. Haha, wouldn't be much of a confectioner if I didn't. I live to make sweets that will bring joy to others. They're not just things, they're works of art.
Sparkling, dazzling, mouth-watering creations, that stuff that dreams are made of. So he aims to create joyous and inspirational pieces, does he? Okay. I understand that the incident in question happened at your mansion. It did. We were holding an international confectionery contest there when a body was found inside one of my creations. Uh-oh. Inside one of your... No way. The detective in charge placed me under arrest because of it, and now here I am. But I could never take a life. Never. I'm sure the police will see that too in time. They'll realize their mistake. I sure hope so. And what can you tell us about the victim? His name is Artie Frost. He was taking part in the contest. Mr. Frost was a wonderful confectioner. His creations were things of real beauty. I just don't understand. Why did he have to die? I'm sorry. He seems genuinely upset over the victim's death. I think I have pretty good measure of the man now. Mr. Tangaroa, there's just one last thing I need to confirm with you. You didn't kill Mr. Frost, correct? Correct. I swear to you I didn't do it. Like I told you, I could never take a life. Never. He seems quite sincere. Alright, I'm going to take you at your word. Thank you for being so forthright with me. Likewise, it's good to talk to somebody other than those detectives. We'll head to the scene of the crime and see what we can learn. We'll be in touch when we have something more to tell you. Goodbye, Gregory. Goodbye, Eddie. I'm counting on you both. It's pretty cold out there, huh, Mr. E? Never saw so much snow. Yes, and it doesn't seem like it will be letting up anytime soon. But just look at this place. What a sweet house Samson's got. It's huge. Yes, big enough to hold an international confectionery contest, no less. Welcome, welcome, everyone. Come on in, we'll have us some fun. Oh no! Are you alright? I'm sorry. Would you happen to be Mr. Gregory Edgeworth by any chance? Somehow he's just as much of a stiff as his boy. Gregory here. Maybe the Edgeworths are all stiff peoples. I would. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Eddie Fender, Mr. Edgeworth's assistant. Mr. Edgeworth, Mr. Fender, welcome to our humble abode. Judy Bound, it's an honor to meet you both. Judy Bound, Duty Bound. I'm the housekeeper here, and Miss Tangaroa's assistant. You're no housekeeper, you're Judy Bound, the Judy Bound. You know a little something of my work? A little? I watch you on TV every chance I get. I'm Bacon Bop's biggest fan. Hee hee, it's very nice of you to say so. We'd be nothing without our fans. And what might Bacon Bop be? It's only the biggest TV show, biggest show on TV. Every kid on the planet loves it. The dynamic duo of Samson and Judy making delicious sweet stuff, all while singing and dancing. Like this. Check it out. What shall we make today, kids? Cookie dough, caramel too, fluffy chocolate. Something cream, tiramisu. Everyone, come along. Baking treats with a smile and a song. There, oh, where, who, there, it's true. The oven's got something special for you. Ping! Just take a bite and you will see. That was a wonderful performance, Mr. Fender. Bravo! Lord, I know, right? This is gonna be another weird one. There was a wonderful performance, Mr. Fender. Bravo! I dance along every time I watch the show. Perhaps Miles might enjoy it too. I'll suggest it later. But all this dancing really takes it out of a guy. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm the world's worst hostess. Here, nothing relaxes the body and mind quite like a cup of tea. Clink, clink, clatter, clatter. Do you see that, by the way, guys?
Wait, not yet. This is Ceylon, correct? It's delicious. Its citrus aroma is said to improve one's ability to concentrate, as I recall. Interesting. So this is what Ceylon tea tastes like, huh? Right here. It's a Christmas tree. It's official. This is a Christmas game, guys. I'm playing it out of season. No. He's a tea expert. Gregory is. I think he is. This is what Ceylon tea tastes like, huh? How odd. The saucer's cold. Yes, it's so that the tea cools down more quickly, I'm afraid. Some of our guests don't like it too hot. I see. These teacups are very unique, too. The design is really something. You think so? Thank you so much. I ordered them all the way from France. They're my absolute favorite. They were designed by a marvelous sculptor named Paul Halicue. Have you heard of him? He makes the most amazing tableware in the world. You're clearly a big fan of his work. Oh, I am. These teacups are my greatest treasure. She's certainly not afraid to show when she's passionate about something. If you don't mind, Miss Spown, I'd like to move on to the reason we're here. Can you tell us everything you know about the unfortunate incident that occurred earlier? Of course. I'm sorry for getting so distracted. I guess I'm still in shock. Because I'm the one who found the body, you see. You discovered the victim? Is it true that the body was recovered from inside one of Mr. Tangaroa's creations? It is. You were in the middle of the contest's final judgment phase when I heard the sound of something big collapsing coming from Samson's room. Samson? Are you in here? Ah! I opened the door and went inside, and there was Mr. Frost's body. Thank you. I'm sorry to make you relive such a traumatic experience. Think nothing of it, please. I only wish I had more to tell you. Now, if you don't mind, Miss Spown, I'd like to begin our investigation of the crime scene. Oh, Mr. Edgeworth, Mr. Fender, you have to save Samson. He's no murderer. He could never do something like that. Of course. Leave it to us, Miss Spown. Thank you so much. I'll go serve the others their tea, then. Come, Eddie, to the scene of the crime. Yes, sir, Mr. E. Oh, he's back. I had a feeling it was him. What the other detective was. No way. Everything in this room's made of chocolate. I can't believe I'm getting to see so many of Sans's creations this close and personal. Oh ho! I love this work of art, by the way. The chocolatey pirate ship. I might be more excited myself if the room wasn't a murder scene. Shudder, just hearing you say that sends a shiver down my spine. That might just be the temperature in here. It's rather cold. Yeah, now that you mention it, it is pretty chill. Ah, achoo! Defense on the scene already? That was fast. He's looking rather young here, guys. And look at his coat, by the way. To see his coat? His coat? No bullet holes! Holy wow, you've seen people who sculpt chocolate like that? I've seen it too, actually. Those people are freaking crazy. Wonder if I can hire one to craft something for me. A pleasure to meet you, Gregory Edgeworth. I'm representing Mr. Tangaroa. This is my assistant, Eddie Fender. Nice to meet you. Bad. Detective Tyrell Bad. The detective in charge is named Bad. A man of few words. Something about this just doesn't taste right. You're eating your notepaper? He likes to chew over his thoughts rather literally. I'm afraid, if it helps him to digest and remember them. It's a little quirk of his. Please try to ignore it. Although I'd be the first to admit that it's easier said than done. The introduction's out of the way. Detective Bad, would you mind if we joined you in investigating the scene? Sorry, not gonna happen. Whoa, what? How come? Mr. Edgeworth is Mr. Tangaroa's attorney. Yeah, and attorneys will do anything to get him off the hook, even put words in their clients' mouths. Think I need that on my crime scene. Mr. Edgeworth would never do something like that. I don't trust attorneys. Okay, kid. Detective, you established my client's supposed guilt based on an investigation of the crime scene, correct?
Do you think this case gives bad one of the bullet holes?
Oh, maybe. It might happen, actually. That's usually how it works, yeah. What of it? And extend me the same courtesy. I believe he is innocent, and I would like the chance to prove it. You believe he's innocent, and you didn't even see the scene yet? That's some flimsy lawyering. That's exactly why I wish to see the scene for myself. I need to ensure that my belief is based on solid evidence and sound reasoning. You about to tell me you're not leaving until I let you look over the scene? I am. Tch. Fine. Knock yourselves out. Thank you, Detective. The same lollipop, but I'm coming around with you. Like I said, I don't trust attorneys. If you're good with that, go ahead and get to it. That was a lollipop this whole time? I must admit I didn't see that coming either. You better get started then. I'll need you to take notes, Eddie. On it, Mr. E. Let's get this over with. Well, he's following us. Mr. Bad is following us. Detective Bad is here. I don't think he's a member of the Yatagarasu at this point in time, by the way. Oh dear. So this is where the body was discovered. Yeah, they took it away already, but everything else is just how we found it. Alright, I see something. It appears the body was inside the treasure chest. Yeah, a woman by the name of Bound found it. Samson? Are you in here? Ah! Seems she heard something breaking and came in to see what it was. If only we had just a little more information. There's something else in here. Huh? It looks like a seal of some kind, with somebody's initials and an intricate shape carved into it. It's for making those fancy wax things on documents? Do you think it belongs to the victim? No idea, but it's gotta get logged anyway, so I'll take that. A seal. There's an H on the seal. It's really rather impressive making an entire ship out of chocolate. That's Samson's Tangaroa for you. Don't you just want to take a big bite out of it? Which part to bite first, though? That's the real head scratcher, you know? Bite any part of it, kid, and you'll be off this crime scene so fast your head will spin. Hey, it was just a joke. Stop staring at me like that. I do sometimes wish Eddie could keep his cool a little better. What do you think, guys? Could you eat all of this chocolate? One of the stands for the ship is broken. The ship must have collapsed onto the treasure chest and smashed it open. Wait, do you think... Could that be how the victim died? Was he crushed by the ship? If he was, this became an accidental death and not a murder. You too serious? Don't worry, Detective. For the moment, we're simply discussing a possibility. Was being serious, though. Detective, can you tell us a little more about the state of the victim's body? Let me see. Got a picture here someplace. You can see for yourselves. Nope, don't think so. You cannot do it. Me neither. And what about the weapon? Has it been found yet? You can ask the prosecutor in charge about that. The detective's not one for sharing much, I see. Would you mind if we borrowed this? No skin off my nose. It's not like it's official. Donna took it with an instant camera when she found the body. An instant camera? Like it's disposable or something? No, it means that it develops the pictures right there and then when you take them. Right there and then when you take them. No way. Sounds pretty convenient. Now then, I'd better get my facts straight and take down some notes of my own. There's something in the picture that contradicts with the current crime scene. I need to call on my powers of deduction to figure out why. Alright, deduction time again. Yay! Yeah. So what is it? I like to see the picture, please. Alright, I see candy, the body, that's normal, there's that there and that there. Does anyone see anything different?
Was the ship here this whole time? The ship was there the whole time. Okay, I need to take a picture of both. I'm gonna forget, like, what's in, like, both pictures. These things are to be stored at real low temps for it to be kept as long as possible. You could eat it, Blue Thunder, but you wouldn't feel good the next day. Oh, no. Yeah, probably right. So, chocolate, ship. Something's missing here. That piece was there. Alright, let's see if I'm right. And if I'm not right, then... I knew it would happen. Wrong save! Wrong save! Right here. Could this be really related to the evidence somehow? Yeah.
Eureka!
I hate everything. I hate my brain. Loading. First speed bump, guys. First speed bump, and I'm already stuck. There was a body in the chocolate. It would probably make you sick with more than a tummy ache. Yeah, I wouldn't want to eat it after that, either. I don't see anything different, guys. Do you? I literally see nothing different here. And you know what that means? It's time to go to the guide. What did the other thing say? Blood loss. On inside the chest. Is it this? Because the seal was there. Yep, no idea. To the guide I go. Come on, guide, you can do it. If anyone else sees what the problem is, maybe you can clue me in, maybe. Give me a second, guys. Apparently it's... Okay. Deduce from the crime scene note. Examine the ship again. Highlight the missing piece of chocolate. What? This? I guess this here? The blood's been carved away, but the difference is a terrible game. Yeah, I never liked it.
Eureka!
You said the only thing that has been removed from the scene is the body. Let me look again. You can't even see that part that's missing there. Because there's like the guy's headpiece on it or whatever it is. You said the only thing that has been removed from the scene is the body? Give me a second, guys. Let me get back into my chat room. The body? Yeah, that and the piece of cloth it was wrapped in. Then something here doesn't quite add up. It doesn't? Take another look at the scene in front of us, Detective. A very conspicuous pool of blood that should be here is clearly missing. You're right. Don't remember anyone mentioning they removed the blood along with the body. You can see the blood above where his head was? Hang on. Oh my god. This is blood. I thought this was like a headpiece or something. Like a weird thing on his head. Jesus Christ, I am so retarded. I hate it. Let me check with forensics. I am so brain damaged. What is it, Mr. E? What did you figure out? Compare the treasure chest in the photograph to the real thing. It looked nothing like blood. It was a red thing. It looked like a red, weird hat piece or something. In the picture, the solid chocolate bottom continues underneath the deceased head. And yet, that part of the chest is now gone.
The part with the blood all over it? Exactly. So did the police remove it, or perhaps the killer? You missed that? Yep. It wasn't forensics. They're saying nobody took anything like that away. Interesting. So somebody deliberately removed the blood from the scene? Could be. Alright. Well, we've examined everything there. Are these chocolate too? A fine selection of nautical paraphernalia. You think one of them could be a murder weapon? No, they're all made out of chocolate. You'd have a hard time bludgeoning somebody to death with one of them. Tch, can't tell which's real in here. They really do look genuine. I can hardly tell the difference myself. A true testament to Mr. Tangaroa's skills. They could be real. What are you investigating, officer? Sir, just taking the temperature of the water here. And what have you learned? Oh, it's warm, sir. The steam in each room flows into the main fountain, and then the water is circulated back to the rooms. Unusual, to say the least. I've never seen a house quite like this one. Rich folks, they're all crazy. I know, right? Whoops. Rich folks are crazy. How's it looking over here, officer? Nothing of interest in the cupboard, or... Yes, sir. So, there is? Oh, no, there isn't. Just a blowtorch used for cooking and some tableware, sir. You heard the man, Mr. Attorney. You had nothing to add, am I right? Something there is real and it was used as the murder weapon? Oh, maybe. Or maybe there's something else. So, do you have something to add? Oh, no. Tch. Can't get a straight answer out of anybody. Perhaps you should ask a straight question. Alright. Hello. Here's this side. There's some very tasteful tableware here, along with some kitchen utensils. This tea set is of the same design as one Miss Spound was served us with earlier. You think Samson could have been drinking tea out of that? The pot and cup were dusted for prints. His were the only ones they found. And what was that case for the utensils? And was that the case for the utensils too? Everything else had been washed, so there weren't any prints to find. And if Mr. Tangaroa was wearing gloves while he was working on his confectionaries, that could explain why the prints were only found on the teapot and cup. Alright. Let's check the fridge. A well-equipped kitchen, as one might expect. Sadly, it doesn't look like there's much to be found in the way of clues. Nothing of interest in the fridge either. We checked. Who are you, mister? And you are? Hearn. Sorry, meditating. Did you want something, detective? Oh, I'm an attorney, not a detective. Gregory Edgeworth, a pleasure to meet you. And I'm his assistant, Eddie Fender. I see. Name's Carmelo Gusto. I'm a confectioner, here for the contest. You are? What's your specialty, Mr. Gusto? Huh? The art of air and sugar. No way! Look at that! It's a little baby seahorse. It's a dragon, a noble soaring creature of the skies. That's a dragon? It does look more aquatic than airborne. No need to sugarcoat it. My design sense is weak. I know that better than anybody. That's why I'm heading to Zhangfa when this is all over. I need to train. Hard. Perhaps we should get off the subject of his design sense for now. So what are you doing in here, Mr. Gusto? I didn't think they were allowing citizens on the scene yet. Detective wanted to know more about one of the pieces in here. That's cool as hell. Wonder if that's a real thing people do in real life. What he just did. Make it happen, someone in real life. Makes sense, seeing as he's a contestant. Perhaps I should ask him a few questions of my own. Those are some interesting implements you use, Mr. Gusto. Sugar-blowing pumps. They put air into the sugar. They're so cool. It's like watching a swordsmaster do his thing. I'm no master. Not a day goes by that I don't hurt myself one way or another.
That's why I wear red. That way it doesn't matter when I make a mess. The way of the confectioner is a lonely one. You'll never stop learning, not until you die.
The way of the confectioner sounds like a long one, too, if he's still injuring himself on a daily basis. Not the way he did it, but like you can sort of sculpt and shape sugar like glass.
I want to see it. I want to see it happen.
What can you tell us about the contest? Based on what we've seen so far, flavor doesn't seem to be the only criteria at play.
The contest was Tangaroa's idea. It's about art, confectionery as art.
Confectionery and art? As art?
Art you can eat, every part of it. Every single item in this room is edible.
The whole place does kind of smell like chocolate.
Tangaroa is a genius, a once-in-a-generation talent, flavor and flair. He has it all. And if you can't outdo the god of confections himself, you can't win.
I don't know, man. Beating out the greatest in the world seems kind of hard, yeah?
As it should be. Whoever beats him becomes the greatest in turn. That's the real prize here. Nothing else matters.
So you're competing for a title, effectively.
And a treasure, the ultimate cookbook, Tangaroa's most prized possession. If you want to know more, it's all written down here. It's the list of rules that were given out to contestants.
Okay. Let's take a look. The Ultimate Cookbook, the title of World's Greatest Confectioner. Judging will proceed clockwise from the leftmost room. All contests will gather in Mr. Tangaroa's room when judging ends. Non-confectionery items may not be used as a decoration. Stands and display materials will be provided. Contestants may not enter another contestant's room until judging has been completed. Okay. You beat the Elite Four and Cynthia in Pokemon Brilliant Diamond. You did it, Blue Thunder. You beat the game. Now you get to do the post-game.
Well done, though. I'm happy for you. Good job. Sorry, I don't know much about what happened. I only heard about it after the judging was over.
How was the judging organized?
It started at 3 p.m. Tangaroa began making the rounds right around then. He left his own room, then worked his way around the venue clockwise. My creations were the first to be judged.
Scone.
After that, he went to Scone's room. She's another one of the contestants.
What can you tell us about her?
Ruthless, brutal, there's nothing she wouldn't do to win. She was working with Cream, some kind of dreamscape.
Chef looks cool. He does look cool. Feels like we've seen him in an anime at some point with that mustache.
Then last of all, Frost's room.
His thing was flavored ice. Sculptures this time, or so I've heard.
Brown found the body, while Tangaroa was still making the rounds. She panicked, ran to call the cops. Tangaroa went right on judging. Claims he didn't know a thing about it until afterward. Went ahead and looked over the victim's work, even though the guy was nowhere to be seen. Pretty suspicious behavior in anyone's book.
I don't have enough information to challenge him on that yet. By the way, Detective Bad, what were you and Mr. Gusto talking about earlier?
I was going to ask about the piece on the wall there, the one in the frame.
Seems like something was off.
Though I better ask somebody who knows about that stuff.
But then you bozos showed up and pulled me away from my very important match. Perhaps we should take a closer look at it together.
Can't take a hint, can you?
Mr. Gusto, would you mind helping us out?
Of course. Confectionery is my life. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you. That's very kind of you. Well, this is different. Who knew you can make a picture this pretty out of chocolate? Samson really is a god among men. Is it really made of chocolate, though? It looks far too much like a regular illustration to me. You have a good eye. I'm impressed.
That's no piece of candy. That's the ultimate cookbook.
The ultimate cookbook? In other words, the grand prize. What? So it's not made of chocolate after all?
No, the book is simply enframed in some.
Tangaroa showed it all to all of us when he gathers us here to explain the rules. So the participants knew that the grand prize was in this room the whole time.
Anyway, you can see it too, right? The frame. Something's missing.
The oddity Detective Bad was going to ask Mr. Gusto about earlier, yes. You're right, Detective. Something is missing from this frame. So it's not just me. Huh? What's missing? Better show Eddie what part of the frame is missing some chocolate. Right there. See that?
Take that.
Take that. Look at the decorative work in the corner there. Something's missing, no? Oh yeah, it's different from the other side. It's not like Tangaroa. The balance is all wrong. But that's not all. Take a look around. Every confection in this room is missing some small bit. You're right. The candle holder, the nautical stuff, they're all like that. Did somebody deliberately damage them? That's a very good question. Or did Tangaroa just want it to look like somebody messed with his work? He never do that to his own creations, never. Could this have some deeper meaning for the case? I must scour the scene and inspect everything that catches my attention. The handprint. Are these finger marks? Yeah, but we don't know whose yet. I haven't figured it out. No fingerprints, no ID. Finger marks without prints. They could certainly be important to the case. It's a real head scratcher, alright. Not really. I'm guessing that whoever it was wore gloves. Aw, who was your sense of romance or of adventure? There doesn't tend to be much of either at a crime scene, Eddie. Achoo! Are you alright, Eddie? Yeah, but it sure is chilly in here. Yes, it wasn't exactly warm out in the fountain room either, but it's even colder in here. Would you like to borrow my jacket? No, I'm fine. And besides, you said you'd give it to me when I finally got my attorney's badge. Heh, I did, didn't I? Why do they have the heat down so low? Chocolate needs to be kept at the right temperature. Take a look behind the panel on the wall. What panel? Look at that. It was here the whole time. There's one in each of the contest rooms. Tangaroa hid them so they wouldn't spoil the aesthetic of our works. And what do the controls do? They adjust the temperature and the lighting. It goes all the way down to negative 22 degrees Fahrenheit, cold enough to keep any confectionery from melting. So in effect, each room is a giant freezer. It's 95 degrees in here? No wonder I'm cold. Hey, Detective Bad, you, mind if we turn it up a little? Preservation of the crime scene is the foundation of detective work. But I'm not a detective. The same goes for attorneys, Eddie. You must never disturb the scene of the crime. Get used to the cold. It's all part of your training. Chocolate needs to be kept between 59 and 65 degrees. There's no way around it. You know the temperatures by heart, huh? Guess it is your job. It's the very least I should know. The real confectioner should be able to tell you that and more. Alright, what about lollipops and cream? If it's not too hot or too humid, a lollipop should be fine just about anywhere. Cream needs to be kept at around 50 degrees. Need to watch out for heat and humidity, huh? Duly noted. Detective Bad kind of brightened up when he was talking about lollipops, didn't he? Suppose he must be very fond of them. I don't believe there's any more to be found here. You don't believe there to be any more? Used to adjust the room's temperature and lighting. Red, yellow, green, dark blue, light blue, white. It's a huge range. Temperature set to 59 degrees. Light colors set to white. The pieces in here are made of chocolate, that's why. Well, light makes them look better. Mr. Tangaroa must see the room itself as part of his carefully crafted creations. Looks like a fire alarm. Yeah, and before you start prodding it, it's not made of chocolate. Push it and bells will start ringing. People will come running from the security room. Whole bunch of hassle, so don't. I know you want to, but don't. Honestly, the thought hadn't even crossed my mind. Typical attorney. What does that being an attorney have to do with anything? What about the candle? A candelabra made of chocolate. There's a title here, The Light of Life. Well, this particular light seems to be missing one of its life-giving flames. Does it have some sort of symbolic meaning, or could it be... Whoops. There's nothing of interest here. It's a journal belonging to the captain of a chocolate ship, also made of chocolate. A diary of despair, that's some title. Come, hark and see how we crossed the sea, and rode the red tide to misery.
Quite a jaunty rhyme for such a tragic-sounding tale. I guess... this must be the title of this piece. Angel Beset by Thorns. It's pretty mysterious. Really gets you thinking, huh? I think I'm a fan. Yeah, you have good taste. I'm especially fond of it myself. Simply captivating. Mr. Edgeworth, Mr. Gusto, praise me. Now, Eddie, don't make this into a thorny issue by bragging about it. Nah, you have bad taste. Was that a dad joke, Mr. Edgeworth? I better make note of this momentous occasion. Or did I make a joke, dad or otherwise? The picture is not made of chocolate, but it's the cover of a book, the Ultimate Cookbook. The Ultimate Cookbook, in other words, the grand prize. Yes, and framed in chocolate. Tangaroa showed it to all of us when he gathered us here to explain the rules. So the participants knew that the grand prize was in the room the whole time. I guess that's it. Maybe, everyone, it is time for some... logic. Sound of something breaking, blunt force trauma, damaged creations, broken stand. Maybe these two? Yay! I'm so smart! Alright. Breaking and broken stand, maybe. The stand broke, and the ship collapsed with it, and the loud sound it made brought Miss Bound running. Yeah, said the ship had already heeled over by the time she got in there. But why did the stand collapse? What caused it to break? Maybe the whole thing was off balance from the get-go. Could that really have been the case? Blunt force trauma... maybe one of these other things? Boom, boom. All of Mr. Tangaroa's creations are missing a little piece of each, including one of the stands that was holding up the ship. Somebody really went all out. Do you think it could have been the killer? It's certainly a possibility. Either way, I think we can safely say the stand was damaged in our mystery person's tampering spree. And when it broke, the ship fell and smashed open the treasure chest, which would have remained closed otherwise. Yay! Health restored. I think we're about done here for now. Well, if I wasn't convinced before, I am now. Tangaroa did it. No two ways about it. What do you mean, man? What do you mean? All the rooms in this place, locked from the inside. The only way to unlock them from the outside is with this key. I see. I knew I had access to that key. Who do you think? Tangaroa. And it's the only one. There aren't any copies. With the mansion key, Tangaroa could slip into anybody else's room anytime he liked. And he could even lock his own room from the outside if he wanted. But Mr. Tangaroa's room wasn't locked, was it? Nope, which is exactly what made him a suspect. Would you care to explain your thinking? Oh no. Here we go. If the door had been locked when the body was found, Tangaroa would have been the obvious suspect, which is why he deliberately didn't lock his room. And why he smashed in the lid of the treasure chest so the body was on display. Everyone was supposed to gather in his room when the judging finished up. He made it look like the murder happened while he wasn't there. The one thing he didn't plan on was Bound finding the body. Anyway, that's my thinking on this whole thing. Good enough for you, Mr. Attorney? Do you also believe it was Mr. Tangaroa who damaged the other pieces in this room? Yep. I know you have to believe your client. That's your job, but I'm a detective and I serve the law. And no matter how squeaky clean somebody might seem, a suspect is still a suspect. I fully understand your reasoning, Detective. Now, would you mind if I applied a little critical thinking of my own? Heh, do your worst. Just as the detective won't compromise his devotion to the law, I won't compromise my beliefs either. And I'm not about to just accept this version of events in fact. I'm going to show him the piece of evidence that highlights the contradiction in his claims. Does that mean there's an obvious contradiction somewhere? I didn't see a single one. Not that. What would it be? What would even it be, guys? The rules? This, maybe? Uses decorations, may not enter another contestant's room. Oh, man. If anyone in chat knows, feel free to say any ideas. I wish that one dude was here the whole time. I so did. The judging finish up. Maybe contestants may not enter another contestant's room. Clockwise, maybe. Gather. Come on.
Objection.
Okay. Yep. I'm gonna pray. I'm gonna press them all. If there's no obvious answer that springs from it, I'm just gonna look it up and then end stream. Oh, man. I don't know, guys. Would it be more fun if I played with a guide? Because, figuring out this stuff on my own is making me feel miserable about myself.
Hold it.
I'll leave it to you all, though. What do you all think? I mean, you're not doing terribly. I kind of am, though. I failed at the first, I was confused at the first, part of this game. I'm saying I'm doing really, really badly. That's hardly solid grounds on which to base your suspicions of Mr. Tangaroa, Detective. And that's hardly solid grounds to start shouting objections left and right on Mr. Attorney. Maybe quit interrupting and let me finish. Which is why he deliberately didn't lock his room.
Hold it.
And why would he deliberately not lock his door? Because if he'd locked it, he might have as well have had a sign saying he did it since he had the only key. But maybe it was just a coincidence. Maybe he just left it unlocked without meaning to. It just happened to leave it unlocked. Somebody just happened to find the body inside. Come on, kid. You'll never make detective thinking like that. But I don't want to be a detective. I want to be an attorney. I'd be grateful if you'd stop trying to steal my apprentice. Look, there's a reason why Tangaroa left his door unlocked. And why he smashed the lid of the treasure chest so the body was on full display.
Hold it.
You're saying Mr. Tangaroa himself deliberately smashed the treasure chest open? Yep. If he hadn't, the body wouldn't have never been found. I struggle to see how he managed to destroy his creation while judging the contest at the same time. Exactly, and besides, there's no way he would have disrespected his sweets. He eats every last crumb on Bacon Bob while dancing. That's the only way his stuff gets destroyed. This isn't about what happens on TV, kid. You know about Bacon Bob, Detective? Am I the only one who isn't familiar with this show? Wow, I never would have guessed. Can you sing the theme song, too? Never mind that now. Focus. Point is this. Tangaroa was responsible for breaking that lid. Everyone was supposed to gather in his room when the judging finished up.
Hold it.
The judging began in Mr. Gusto's room, correct? Yeah. Kinda wanted to check his heart at candy stuff out myself. In that case, how about a demonstration? Well, it's you, Detective. Are you calling him a dirty dog? It's a wolf. A lone wolf. I like it. Starting to enjoy these little displays. Anyhow. So we made it look like the murder happened while he wasn't there.
Hold it.
Do you have a clear idea of what exactly the murder took place? Not yet. Autopsy report's still pending. And yet you still went ahead and arrested Mr. Tangaroa. We may not know when the murder happened, but we know when the body was discovered. It was while Tangaroa was judging Gusto's room. The perfect alibi if he could set it up just right. But still not grounds for an arrest. Surely you have to agree with that. Do I? Especially when I've got nothing more to say to you. But I get the feeling he's hiding something. Detective Bad seems pretty convinced that Mr. Tangaroa is the culprit. But there's no way he would have vandalized his own creations, no way. So the treasure chest did get smashed in, there's no denying that. Perhaps we should focus more on what led to the body's discovery. Doing so should make it easier to spot the flaw in Detective Bad's theory. After that, all of that, still no idea, guys. Still no idea. Something that led to the thing. Maybe something here then? Teapot. Crime scene notes.
Objection!
Okay, it was this for some reason. We've established that the body was hidden inside the chest. And we've also established that it's time to end the stream for today. Alright, more of this game tomorrow. I'll keep going without using a guide as much as I can, but if I keep feeling miserable about myself, I might have not a choice. But take care, guys. Have a good one. More Legend of Zelda tomorrow. Be awesome. And be good. Bye-bye.